So I tried some new food this week. I thought you'd be interested to know.
I'm always excited to hear what you expanded your diet to.
So a new thing, vegetarian tacos.
No.
Have you ever heard of these? Slaw bunnies? That
sounds
yeah.
like
Wait a
porn.
minute. Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
that's
I
a
was.
snow bunny. No,
yeah,
No,
okay.
slaw, like coleslaw or like slaw.
I mean, I like coleslaw.
Slaw bunnies nuts.
Yeah. Wow. Was that the build up for the whole thing?
Okay.
That's good. That's good.
How much does a polar bear weigh? Enough to break the ice. Let's get started.
Great start.
I'm gonna go first with Nerd Weeks this week.
Ooh.
Wow, fancy.
Mainly because I got confused as to how I should delineate the coffee as to who arrived first. So take the pressure off of myself and just put it on myself again.
I think that's what the last month of this year is going to be for me, is streamlining my process to make it as unstressful as possible.
I love to hear it. So I'm still reading Doomsday Clock, the comic book where the DC universe and the Watchmen universe collide.
Right.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it so far.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it. The mime with when you took the stuff out of the guns work. So he was like this like flash comes out of nowhere, and puts a hole in somebody's head.
What?
Yeah. So
when's Todd making that figure?
Yeah, who knows?
With accessories.
I actually think it's believable to. I think one may have been made. DC Collectibles may have done one.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, dude. R.I.P. And I also haven't looked at the Nerd Rage notes at all this week. So.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's been
We're pros, just doing it live.
I've been a busy bee, and not necessarily with.
What you trying to do,
not necessarily with shit here, just in general, just shit everywhere.
I mean, end of the year, a lot of people are busy.
Yeah.
They're like a 1-year-old alone by themselves with a full diaper. Just shit everywhere.
Yes. Yes.
I've seen
So
that in real life. That's fucking gross.
let's see what I've done.
Running down the leg.
Have
you ever seen yourself fall with it? Just
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it.
I been watching Titans. Not feeling the second season as much. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm going to make it through. I'm just putting it out there. I'm trying.
So did the creative team change? Did you look into it?
I did not look into it, but here's what I got to thinking about it. The story in Titans, and I'm not sure how familiar either of you are, but the story in Titans where Raven deals with her father,
who is
Trigon the demon.
I only know this from Teen Titans Go. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay, so Teen Titans Go has handled it. Teen Titans Judas Contract, I think, is about it. The DC animated film.
Okay.
I think it might just be the best Titan story ever told.
okay.
Which is great.
That dynamic.
It's great.
Okay.
Unless you start with it.
Oh, where are you gonna go from there?
Where do you go from here now that all of the children are growing up? And how do we spend our time? Dude, I'm going to make a playlist of on
DMC8 immediately.
But the problem is I don't know where we go from here. And it's like...
Isn't that what we're asking ourselves after the Thanos?
Yes.
Where the fuck are you going to go
But
from here?
Death... Yeah, exactly. But Deathstroke, they're bringing him in. And it's interesting because it's got me thinking a lot about Titans and comics. And now that I see Deathstroke popping up, Deathstroke's daughter's kicking around too, who's Cassandra Cain. That just... Who
is one of the birds of prey.
Yeah, and Batwoman. The first Batwoman.
I didn't realize that.
The short hair.
The all blackface, not blackface.
The gimp mask one.
A blackface.
Tasty taint. Pojo, simplify my life, Bobby.
And let me clean up in aisle 7. It is a black mask that covers her entire face.
Very good.
And it's she's an interesting character. She was mute. I'm just now putting that together. I don't know why that didn't click for me. But anyway, she's popped up. And the thing is Deathstroke is too much for the Teen Titans.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like what you mean, personality-wise or power set?
Yeah, power set. I mean,
really?
Power set.
I don't think
skill
so.
set. He's just...
I think you get
if you're a challenge for Batman, the Teen Titans is a walk in the park.
Well, okay, devil's advocate. Batman is normally Batman. maybe one of his.
He learned his skills in the mountains.
He did.
I haven't had that one in a while.
I'm bringing it back.
That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut. It may be Batman, and depending on what era of comics is, the get along gang, let's call them. Other people with bats on their costumes.
Sure.
Versus, literal superheroes.
Yes.
Like people with powers.
People with powers.
So-
PWP. Not to be confused with people with pussies, which is the CB4 deep cut.
There's this thing going around.
CB4 comes up on this podcast a lot. We should just
Only
watch
because
it.
of you.
Well, yes, but
I love CB4.
Yeah, he brought it up
my balls
with Chris Elliott last time. That's how we got
straight out of Low Cash.
Yeah,
Crazy motherfucker named Gusto. I fuck your mother. I fuck your cat. I would have fuck your sister, but bitch is too
I
fat.
fucked your mom. I fucked your cat. I would have fucked your. I think it might have been fuck your wife.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody will.
When
tell
I'm in
us.
your neighborhood.
You better duh. No, that's
the real
Ice
one.
Cube. Where were we at there? Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. Yes. So they have powers, but Deathstroke's smart. He's calculated.
Right.
He's you know what I mean. He's
Sure.
10 steps ahead of you. The same thing as Batman, right? And Batman can beat all of them, the Titans.
Sure.
So like, if Batman can beat the Titans and Batman struggles with Deathstroke, I'm like,
Okay. Well, then who's the villain for the
Titans. Yeah, is the question. Is that's what I was thinking? Is who is the appropriate villain?
It's almost like they've checked him off. Like, all right, Deathstroke, you're going to work with the Titans for the next foreseeable future, and we'll let you in this new Batman movie.
Well, there's like 4 grades of DC. There's like the Justice League, and they fight the Thanoses of the world, as it were. The problems that
You can
are
say Darkseid.
yes,
it's okay.
The dark sides of I was just calling back to his reference, but yes,
Yes.
The Thanos G1, the dark side. They
You went to a fault.
that they fight the problems that are going to destroy life, everything as we know it. And then there's the Justice Society, which kind of do the same thing. They're just from the days of old.
Right. Like Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
I've learned that recently.
Yeah, Dr. Fate, who's kind of like a Doctor Strange,
He's Magic Man.
but more powerful. And big on crisis. He's a big crisis character. He's always involved in the crises.
We can fix it.
And the Outsiders, who are like the mid-level, right?
Who do you put in that category?
There's like Nightwing is in there, Donna Troy, who's like you know what I mean? Because they're all kind of legacy characters that get pat. Like there's like a character for the Justice League, and then there's a Bat character for the Outsiders, and then there's a Bat character for the Teen Titans, and then you know what I mean? And there's a Superman character, and there's a Superman character for the you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like so they're like the mid-grade, and then there's like the Teen Titans, which are like the kids, right? So I was getting to think, and I was like, man, what villains do I want to see them fight? And anyways, just something I was kicking around in my head while I was watching this and thinking to myself, I'm not engaged. Why am I not engaged in this? And I was just engaged like a motherfucker, 2 weeks ago. So I don't know. It's just something I was kicking around.
Well, okay. Fill me in. What was was it an overall plot arc of the first season?
Yes. So they're well, first of all, it's the team coming together and getting to know one another. That's always great, right? And then it's
At the end, they have to fight somebody, though.
Trigon. He ends up in the gym on Raven's Head.
Okay.
And, that's,
It'd
like,
be really awkward come shower time.
yeah. Yeah.
You got to shave that?
God.
I don't
Can't
know.
imagine. But yeah, so yeah, I read that and I watched that and have varying degrees of thoughts regarding both. We'll get to Mandalorian after your week, and I finished up a diorama, Nebulos, which actually finishes one Transformers bookshelf finally,
Whole Billy.
which isn't like that amazing, but it's like for a collection that I've struggled with in terms
Yeah,
of
that was the one that fucked you up.
Yeah.
You like sat down. I was like, what am I gonna do?
yeah, almost quit it. I mean, almost quit.
Yep.
Because I couldn't figure out how to make them work. I would like to get into that discussion too that you were talking about on Instagram. Try to remember to bring that up, Joe. The
display.
the furniture stuff. And shit. Oh, so here's a question I have. I had a situation this week, where I can't say he's a friend. He is a friend. However, he's also far more than that. He's a mentor. He's almost a father figure. He means an awful lot to me. But I wouldn't call him to like talk. You know what I mean? I'd call him if I needed help. And
would you call him for advice?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
Career advice?
Absolutely,
okay.
100%. And he is a master of his craft. In everything that he does.
Does he doesn't put like worms on hooks? Does he?
No.
He'd be a master.
Yes.
Baiter.
But you know what? If he did, he would learn everything about it. He would become
inside and out.
He would become a
front and back. Would
he
learn it front and back, Bobby?
He would be a subject matter expert. It would be a touch and go type type of thing.
Hands on, hands off, however he needs to be.
Correct.
Okay.
He would be able to do it by meditating, like
wow.
like
So
Sting.
that guy on prison that fucking seduced the prison guard, and then she like helped him escape.
Is this that show you watch?
What show?
Bad Women or whatever.
No, this was a while ago. I don't think it's from Deadly Woman, but yeah,
What?
this bitch like helped this dude get out of jail or like give him special treatment and stuff because he seduced her, but with a power move, he just sat there, hands free, and just fucking came.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
What if that was the difference?
I would do that all the time.
What if that was the difference between Jedi and Sith? Sith could do that, and that was the real.
The dark side becomes even more alluring.
That was the real power of the dark side.
Yeah. You don't know the power of the dark side. Like, we can come without touching it. It's like, sign me up.
There's the power. It's like a fountain.
I gotta get my morals the fuck out of here.
Give me some more pineapple juice.
When that demon starts talking. But I don't.
You have a mentor person.
Yes.
He's a master of his craft.
Yes. So, he came to me.
Hands on or hands off, Bobby?
Perfect.
So to speak. And asked a favor, an art favor.
Oh.
But he didn't say I'm asking a favor. He said, I need you to.
Okay.
And he told me what the project was. And then he said, do I have any ideas? I said, I do not. And this is not my bag. So come up with an idea and then let me know. And he said, sure, but you brainstorm as well. And I said, okay. So he came back to me, so to speak, in a couple of weeks. And he said, you got any ideas? I got nothing, is what he said. And I said, yes, I've got this idea. And he said, I'm not crazy about it. And I said, I didn't think you would be. This isn't my bag. I'm uncomfortable with it. I'd prefer not to be the idea guy. He said, well, let me put you in touch with another guy that is an idea guy. And I said, perfect. So the idea guy said, what do you got for an idea? And I said, well, that's why I'm talking to you.
Right.
And he didn't have an idea either. So
Shit, he fucking.
So
idea guy.
My mentor said, can you just do this simple thing? And I was like, done. Say less, right? So I did it. And it took some time. It wasn't hard work, but it was just like, click this, add this effect, click that, take that, make a mask, delete the mask, add the mask to the layer, it was one of those deals. Mm-hmm. And I sent it to him.
That was all Photoshop jargon, by the way.
Yes.
If you don't know.
Yes. So I called him, and I was like, look, this is what I got. I'm sending it your way. By the way, are you asking me to do this as a favor for you, or are you asking me officially to do this on behalf of a company that you represent?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, on behalf of the company. Mm. And I said, okay, how should I go about billing for it? And he said, well, I don't think they were expecting to pay you. I think they thought you would take pride and be proud that they were using it. And
they wanted to pay you an exposure.
the company wanted to pay me an exposure.
It's priceless, Joe.
So
priceless.
I said, fair enough, and I sent it off. And then I sent along with it, I was like, look, I am happy to do this for you. Because you mean that much to me, and whatever you needed, I would do it in a heartbeat. As far as the company that you work for, this is what I got to offer if I'm not being commissioned. And if I am being commissioned, I'm going to need a detailed vision. Mm-hmm. And that's and other I have and nothing, and I have nothing more to offer this. Mm-hmm. And he said, understood. But I would only bring it up for as an example of the kind of, it's two parts. but it's the strange dynamics of friendships and relationships and money, for one, and for two, it's always the people. Not always. Never use always, and never use never. Right.
Only sis.
It's
absolute.
Right. It's most often the people that are closest to you, I feel like, that will hold what you do at the lowest value. And what I mean by that is I will have a stranger that I've never met send me $100 and some for a blanket with no questions asked. And then I'll have a guy that I worked with for 15 years, like nickel and dime me over $10 that I'm already giving like a 50% kind of markdown on something that he, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
I can't relate.
You cannot. Here's an example of Joe. Joe goes the opposite route where I would rather not take his money, but he insists, and he even paid for shipping, so I'm going to mail it to you, unless you take the $10 back, by the way.
I want you to hand deliver. Same with like, you should. I mean, I don't know. You should just value people what they do. Like,
I agree.
Like, I'm like, don't do shit for me for free. This is a commission. Tell me how much to charge you, and then I'll fucking pay you to do the work. Like, because I've had issues.
Well, Joe's renting me for the whole day, so we'll see with that.
Because I've had issues with dealing with friends and money, like in my young days, and I'm like, oh no, you got to make this clear.
And I agree. However, I feel like there's no crystal way to always keep it. Like, I understand and appreciate your approach, and I think your approach works 90% of the time, right? But the problem is you can't always account for everything, and you shouldn't, because there is a give and take and an ebb and flow to relationships in general, right? So, like, if you come over for dinner, I'm not going to give you a bill at the end of the night. You know what I mean?
You're not going to get invited to a party and then charge cover fee?
Well, see, that's my point. Is that, like, so if you came over all the time, so to speak, and we're eating all the time, and then you had me over your house, and then you said, "Hey man, you mind chipping in on this?" Now I'm like, fuck. Now I'm in a weird spot because like I don't mind, but I don't think it's right. No. You know, and it's like it's right. And not that it has affected the way I view this gentleman in my life. Like he will always be who he is to me.
Well, let me ask you this: was he asking you to do that? Was he asking you to do that, or did someone ask him to ask you to do that?
So from me asking, is this a favor for you or for the company?
Yeah.
I got the impression that somebody asked him
leaned on him about it
to ask.
That's shady.
Right.
On the first person's part.
And a little bit on the second. Like the first person is taking advantage of the relationship of the second.
Oh, yeah.
And now the second like, acts on that advantage.
Yeah. And he could have been like, are you going to pay him?
Right. And I would have been happy if he would have came to me and asked anything. I would have been within reason. Chris, don't stop touching that. I would have.
I came to a different conclusion, Bobby.
I would have been happy to do it. You know what I mean? But like I said, it doesn't affect the way I see him at all. It doesn't. It just made me think like, man, like it's so weird how tricky dynamics like that can get, and a lot of it I think has to do with an inability to communicate, right? Because I feel like
because from the get go it wasn't clear what you were doing. Oh, who are you doing it for?
Correct. And there's a lot of questions that I have now that I'm kicking around that now it's awkward to bring up. You know, where it's like if we would have just talked about it in the beginning, the same way if you were like, hey man, I'm having wings and shit, you mind kicking in? Like I would say, no, I don't mind. That's what it would like. It would almost be like a reflex.
Yeah.
You know, and then in my head I'd be like, yo, did he just ask me to kick in for some wings? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like I'd always have this thing kicking around in my head where, that might be a me thing, where like I need you to know how I feel about something.
No, I get you. I'm like that.
So like, I would always want to be like, hey man, I'm happy to kick in on the wings. Are you going through something? Because if you're not going through something, I feel like it's a little weird to ask me to kick in on these wings when I never asked you to kick in on some food, or you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. but it's like shit can unravel so quickly as an adult. I feel like it's an adult thing. It's like
Like, you don't have to worry about money like that as much when you're not a fucking adult.
Yeah, but
it's also like
I think it becomes principle.
Yeah, it is. Because when you're a kid, it's very specific. It's like spot you're 20, and then that's on the books. Spotted you're 20. You know, it's not like because and also when you have like as an adult, and also when you have a longer relationship, like I don't keep track of shit.
Right.
It's not like I remember I took him out for dinner here, and here.
So
like, no.
Yes. So but
and that shit is just not counted when it comes to favors and shit.
So I don't either. Let me give you an example. So just had a birthday recently, right?
He certainly did.
So a long time ago, Just sent me a picture of a manatee that he drew. That was fucking awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, like, and it wasn't.
I have not seen this.
It was like an animated style manatee, like, and he's just like this lazy manatee, like just I'm like. I want my kids to watch a cartoon based off of this drawing. Like, it just had so much character in it, you know? Well, then he ended up putting on a bunch of weight and started calling himself that manatee.
Oh.
And he's like, and he made jokes like, this manatee right here, he's in no hurry. You know, shit like that. So we saw a birthday card that said, "You're the man." And then it had about a T, and it had a manatee on it. And I was like, I'm getting this dude this birthday card, and I'm sending it to him. But, like, I'm not sitting here like, December's coming up. My fucking birthday card better be in the fucking mail, bro. You know, I don't care. Yeah. I don't want one. I was like, I hate a fucking card in general.
You know,
some people like that.
This brings up something that happened not to me, but to Mason. So Mason's got a circle of friends from high school, and they still have a chat and they talk. And just randomly, one of the 5 people in this chat said, "Hey, I got you guys all something for Christmas. You mean a lot to me, whatever." And then I guess he sent about like a $20 eShop credit or video game credit. Well, the Mason's like, I wish he had discussed this with the group before he bought 20. Because now, I mean, he's like, now I need to come up with
one of the reasons why I hate getting presents.
Well, and you know what? Kelly told him this. Is like, look, just because a gift's a gift, if somebody feels like if somebody's giving you a gift in expectation to get a gift back, they're doing it for the wrong reasons. 1 and 2. If you do decide to get a return gift, the value has nothing to do with how much they paid for theirs.
Right.
Because my wife, hang on, I'm not done, because my wife shops at the clearance stores. I'm kidding. That last part's a joke, but I thought it was funny. Like, yeah, I'll tell you, Kelly won't care that I put this out there. Her mom would be, all right, I'm spending $200 on you for Christmas, Joe. Oh, well, I bought all this shit on sale. It was only $40, but it's $200 in value. Here's your Christmas. That was how she justified in her head.
Yeah, so like that stuff with me. So the gift thing too, right? Like, I think that shit gets fucking touch and go too.
This is a good time to discuss this because holiday season is coming.
Yeah,
but people do things that way. They do. I don't know what subconsciously or not. When they give something, they kind of expect it to get something back in return. A lot of people. I think that's a normal way.
I'm almost on the other side, where it's like I almost so I have 2 things. Like I'm never going to get something for someone that I don't want to get for them.
Right.
I'm never going to do that. However, sometimes I will act on something early and put it away because I'll be like, look, I know I want to get them something because they might get me something, and I don't want to be empty-handed.
God, I hate that shit.
I don't want to be empty-handed, you know, and I don't want to get them something just for the sake of getting them something. So I might as well act now. If I get it to them, cool. I wanted to get it to them anyway. If they got me something, cool. I feel guilt-free, and it has nothing to do with them. It's all on me.
When I was a kid,
weird. So weird,
right?
So this is pretty crazy, and I haven't thought about this in years. So God, I can smell the house. My mom is one of 10 children, and I remember going to her mother's house for it was Christmas Eve. I mean, 10 kids. I think 8 of them probably of my mom's siblings, and just, I don't know, 20-something cousins, ranging in age from babies to, grown-ass men at this point. Mm-hmm. And I remember my mom would just, like, we'd get gifts for some people, and she would just, like, get boxes of candy and wrap them. It's like, what are all those for? Just in case somebody else is, or she'd go to the dollar store and buy toys and just wrap them, just like, because I don't know if cousin so-and-so was going to bring her ragtag bunch of hoodlums out of the holler, just to have, so nobody feels left out,
Well, I think it's more
and also got some really, probably the most, like, G.I. Joe-ish toys I ever got would be at those kind of events.
You got some private corps.
Yes, private corps. Yes.
So we have done that for sure, but only for kids.
Yeah.
Because we don't want like we used to have like a pretty big Christmas party. We stopped having it when Adam started having it. Mm-hmm. But we used to have like a pretty big Christmas party and like invite everybody and bring their kids and everything, and like somebody would dress up as Santa Claus, like bring out gifts, like the whole thing. And sometimes you didn't know who was going to come and who would bring what kids, and some of my friends have some interesting family dynamics, and I would say non-traditional family dynamics.
Sure.
So like, you just don't know how many fucking kids are going to show up.
Depends if it's a second or third weekend kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And depending on that, the one thing you don't want is one kid sitting alone looking at empty palms. Mm-hmm. But we don't do that. We've never done that for adults.
Yeah.
Or it's like, I'd probably be like, I'm going to run downstairs see if I haven't opened up any Blu-rays.
Wow. I was in Target yesterday in Westminster, and I was walking back to the toys, and there's these two gentlemen that were looking at Blu-rays with this older woman, and they were looking at it was like Friends box sets and different TV shows, and I heard one of them say, "Well, I just don't know if he has a Blu-ray player." Just like, I bet you he doesn't. I bet you he streams everything.
So, do we have anything else to offer, Joe?
I think I didn't think about it as a kid, but I made like fucking Chinese people got it right with the red pocket, the little red envelope with money. Mm-hmm. That's the default.
FBI, that is not a code. 2655. He said red pocket. Get him.
Little did you know I'm a Chinese sleeper cell.
What is it now? I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
Little red envelope.
Yeah, I know about
decorated
that.
envelope, and you put any any amount of money in there, and like you make a stack of them at the end of the year for New Year's or whatever, and you give that out.
Yeah, but
that's a present.
But you never like, fuck, man. I get a dude 20, and I just got a $2.
You got a $2 bill.
Where they still?
$2
Where are these motherfuckers? Where are these weird ass uncles keep finding $2 bills at?
Well, the thing is, it's a big it's like a swap meet. Like you don't know who gave you what.
Oh,
like what? By the
it's
end
all
of the
the
night,
same envelope.
Unless you want to be special and you be the guy that get like the real fucking fancy red envelope because you want people to know who you are. Mm-hmm. Then that's a power move.
Because there's two $2 bills in it.
Flex. Okay, yeah, I dig that.
But
actually.
also, like, I think giving money
but
is fine.
It's also not
people
personal.
Yeah.
Because like I only really give gifts because like it's personal. Like the fucking you got me them beads for my car. That's a fucking trash gift. But you know what? It's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Because it's personal.
Are they in your car?
1,000%.
I didn't know you'd ever put them in.
So my wife just cleaned out my car because she's using my car now for the new. And I treat my car like a piece of shit because I hate it. Like it's like my little passive aggressive. Like I will never wash you. I will never vacuum you. I will like you are. You don't even play music right. So. Dude, I was playing music so loud one day. I was coming into work, and this but DJ, he was like, "You're gonna have to put an amp or something in there, man." The whole fucking car's rattling. So anyway, so she said, "What do you want to do with these beads?" And I was like, "Well, I do want to try them." Because that's the whole point of it. And so Laura installed them. So I want to use them for a skit, and then I'll probably send them on their merry way. There's not that much of a feeling difference.
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever just had one?
It's been years ago.
Oh, okay. Because the whole thing came from me saying I always was curious what it felt like to sit in one. But that was a gift that was meaningful. It didn't matter. It could have been whatever, like $5. It could have been $20. It could have been anything. And like it's not going to be praised forever in my life, but it was a meaningful gift based on an experience that I don't know. Like if he would have given me $15, I'd have been like, dude, just.
Well, that's
next
the
time.
thing.
Next time you find something at Walmart, just put it towards it.
I mean, our at point in our lives, exchanging $20 bills is pretty negligible for us.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's like, oh, thanks, cash, great. What am I going to do with this?
Yeah, you hate cash. That's a fact.
Yeah, I don't use cash either.
I
have to at some point.
I do keep cash on me now more so than I used to. Just because at this day and age, you never know.
Yeah.
They'll probably be like, we're only taking gold bullion for gasoline today.
I have 3 tomatoes.
Yeah.
So So that's been going on. Other thing in my head anyway, like just like that dynamic of money and friendship and how it can affect. I mean, I've definitely lost friends to the give and take dynamic, you know, and when it felt disproportionate.
Yeah, like I don't keep track, but like at some point, if it's really disproportionate, you know
Exactly. But here's the thing: I never. So with the danger thing, right? This is what it leads back to with me always.
Yeah.
Is God danger. I fucking went through the trenches with him. Like I miss him terribly, but like I never realized how much I did for him until he asked me for something. And the moment
Then
he
you thought
asked me
about
for
it.
something, I was like, "Wait a fucking minute."
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not sure. And it was a principle thing. I'm not sure if it was worth it now. You know, like in my mind, I'd have to. That would be like a sit down and really have that conversation and try to like flesh out. Like I probably had to get a fucking flow chart.
an abacus.
Yeah, because like there is like so on one side it's like, man, like do you want someone in your life like this that's not willing to invest $20?
Right.
You know,
No, I mean, I don't know. Maybe people see money differently, but like as part of a relationship dynamic, I guess, right? Like. How much does somebody mean to you if you're not willing to fucking spend $20 for them?
Right.
You know what I mean?
right? But it's like I agree. I ultimately agree. On the other side of things, it's like, man, is it worth spending an extra $20 to keep a relationship that I really enjoyed?
Yeah.
You know, and
On
had,
your end, yeah.
you know, so it's like, you know, I don't know. It's complicated.
And I remember when I worked retail, the auto parts stores, we would, you know, hey, I'm going to go to Arby's. Do you want something? Yeah, pick me up, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. How much? And I'd say, don't worry about it. Which, you know, you get me next time.
Yeah.
And we call it the circle of debt. So if somebody new would come in, we're like, hey, we're getting lunch. What do you want? I'm like, I don't want whatever sandwich. I'm like, all right, how much you owe? He's like, circle of debt. You just, you know, at some point in time, we'll ask you to pay for lunch.
Right.
And it was never like, this
Yeah.
is $80. You know, it's $20 here, $20 there. But we just kind of took care of each other.
And I'm good with that.
And then this one time, this guy quit. He's like, hey, I think you guys owe me. Fuck you. Get out.
Oh my
Circle
God.
it. No, I'm kidding. I didn't have him. But that would have been great.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, like, I mean, we do that at my job, too, where, like, there's a lot of taco trucks in my area.
That's why you carry cash.
And that's one of the reasons. But
Do they make them American style, Bobby? With shredded cheese?
I'll tell you next time.
Tortillas?
Next time I actually buy one, I'm going to find out. I can tell you that much. I ever tell you that story about the taco truck?
Oh, yeah. The pickled radishes, man.
Yeah, the fucking
That's
radishes
ooh.
and the fucking the onions. Fucking this thing was made up. Like, all right, imagine
and double wrapped.
Imagine a taco in your head. Replace the cheese with onions. That's what it looked like. And
Dude,
like
the rest
love
of
it.
us have had real
Love it.
tacos. Like you're
Make me hungry.
You're saying something that you think is new, but no, that's normal.
I got in the mopping vehicle, the van, and I was carrying the bags of tacos, and I put them in the back of the van, and I was like, damn, somebody got a fuck ton of onions on this thing. Turns out I did, as it was. But yeah, fuck that. Anyway, but they get it all the time, and they'll, like, you know, somebody will pick it up this week, somebody will pick it up that week, you know, whatever the case may be. So
Yeah, I know people like that keep track of money with their fucking spouses, which just blows
Yeah,
my
that-
goddamn mind.
So you know what's funny? My dad and his wife definitely have separate money.
I mean, it's separate account. It's not the same as like.
No, agreed. But it's interesting specifically to me because, for one, my mom robbed my dad blind, right? So I understand why my dad operates the way he does. But for two, only reason why I say that is because sometimes we'll go out to dinner and they'll fight over who's going to pick up the check. You know, like, I got it. No, I got it. No. This one's on me. Like, no, I want to pay for this one. Like, you know what I mean? And sitting there watching it, I'm like, oh,
That's weird.
yes, I get it, but they're both kind of that way, where they want to be the more generous one. But sitting there watching it, I'm like, oh, their money is 100% separate, and they're very much aware of their own budgets. You know, which is just
Well,
like,
they're at a different space in life, too.
For sure.
I think that's you know, one of my ears.
Yeah, mine,
one of
mine
mine.
too.
One of mine keeps going in and out.
This
Just why I'm
is-
keeping tension.
That's strange. Just one ear just went out. Oh, well. I'll just do this then.
I'll have to fuck with
on
the
both of ours, the left one went out. Oh no, yours?
This one
Yeah.
left out on mine. Did
Yeah,
the left
mine
channel
too.
just
Mine's
drop out?
right.
Technical support here at Nerd Rage Radio.
Yeah, I may
Oh,
have
that's
to.
better.
Did I?
Mine, like, if I keep tension on the cord, it might need all new gold plugs.
Again? We just replaced them.
Yeah.
Why don't you just super glue them in?
Let's see that. Hello. I don't know.
Um,
I'll deal with it.
Yeah, because like I don't have this. We have separate bank account. I don't have a joint account, but like I have no track of who's spending what money.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, just buy whatever you want. I mean, we're if it's over $1,000, we probably need to talk about it. But I knew this. I want to tell the story real quick. A guy I used to work with, he and his wife had a very odd relationship. He would cut up her meat at dinner in front of people.
Yeah,
First time I saw that, I thought it was wild.
Did he start dating her when she was like 13? He was like 24.
So not
Real,
quite.
keep it real, Alabama, in this bitch.
It was actually they're from Georgia. They're from the greater Atlanta area. So second marriages for both of them, and he proudly says he outpunted his coverage. If you're familiar with that. She's way out of his league, so to speak. So he does.
I'm oddly aware of that than you might realize.
So he was one of these points guys. Like he maxed out everything he could to get as many like travel points and hotel points.
Yeah.
But they had a points card, and she would use it, and he would use it literally for everything. And like she would go to Subway for lunch. She would text him either a picture of the receipt or how much it was, and he would immediately go pay that on the credit card. That way, so they never owed anything, but they were getting the points.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're literally everything she buys. She's telling you.
All you have to do is pay a bill at the end of the month, and that's paid. You don't get charged interest on your credit card unless you don't pay.
Right. I don't. Maybe that was easy for them to keep up with that way.
Yeah,
we keep separate accounts, but only for my toy shit. Like all DMH money goes into one account.
Right.
Everything else goes into the family account.
Mm-hmm. We're set up similarly.
Yeah.
With that.
So secondly, my DC, my 6-inch, so to speak, DC fetish and trials and tribulations. So as I am getting more into it and learning more about it, I'm like, fuck, there's like 3 lines from Mattel. DC Superheroes, DC Unlimited, DC Universe Classics. So DC Superheroes, DC UC, and then DC Multiverse. And they're all in scale for the most part. There's a couple wonky ones here and there. And they span over the course of years, and it's kind of amazing how far they got into that line.
Right.
But then I'm like, man, I'm not 100% happy with this character or this character. So let me see what else is out there. So then there's DC Essentials. This is all the DC collectible stuff. DC Essentials, DC Icons, and I want to say there's one more line.
I think Icons was one of the last ones they did, though, right?
Mm-hmm. So I was like, fuck, I need somebody to hold my hand. Like, you know what I mean? So I hit up InstaSam.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, you got a minute? And he said, yep. So I got on the phone with him, and he's building a pretty impressive DC collection.
Yeah, he actually bought something for me this past week, but he's putting together. And he does some great Kit Bash stuff.
Yes.
Like stuff that you wouldn't even think about.
You wouldn't think about it. He has a Wonder Woman that's made up of like 8 different Wonder Womans or some shit, but it looks fucking great. Like, it's like, your arms will do.
Kit Bash, yeah.
Yeah.
He's done some G.I. Joe repaint stuff. Like he took that Storm Shadow and painted it all white and put sleeveless arms on it. And like it's been copied so many times. So he did an absolutely fantastic job on it.
Yeah. So I was like, I went in with a bunch of questions, I'll say. Mm-hmm. I came out with absolutely 0 answers.
But you had a good time talking to him.
Yeah, I did have a good time talking to him. But I was like, so what scales with it? And he was like, well, and he starts talking about the scale problems. Mm-hmm. And I was like, right, no, I get that there's scale problems. Now, what scales with it? And he's like, well, this scale. Like, so here's an example. DC Icons has 2 Batmen that I know of. There's the kind of blue-gray classic Batman.
And then there's
New 52, a black-gray New 52 Batman.
Is that the one with the yellow outline? Okay.
Yeah.
Or is that New 52? That's Rebirth, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right.
I just correct him.
You
on
did.
The DC
You did.
thing?
You did.
Somebody taking notes.
Cash that check.
So the Rebirth Batman scales with everything. It seems like DCUC and all that shit, but the blue and gray Batman, which is the one I prefer, is too short and scales more so with like kind of import proper 1/12 scale. So it's like, so basically his answer was that there is no answer, that everything is all over the place and is kind of trial and error to see what works. And that's a frustrating
That's a lot of work.
experience.
That's a lot of work.
We talked about that with McFarlane last week.
Yeah, well, I'm giving you more plastic. You don't want to take it?
He makes each piece for itself.
He loves that shit. People, him and George Lucas. I would pay money to be a bug on the wall for just a conversation between the two of them, and they could just both argue with each other over who's greater.
Yeah,
and not selfishly. Well, how many toys have you made? Why would you sit in the upper deck when you could sit in the front row? Yeah, and I don't think I've done much else. My Magic case is supposed to arrive today.
Nice.
Oh.
I sent Gambit back.
I saw he was missing in there.
I sent Gambit back.
And they're going to send you a replacement.
I'm supposed to get a replacement. I am not counting any egg until fully hatched at this point. Because it's been such a... It's been a wavy ride. Mm-hmm. It's been a roller coaster. And I'm not taking anything for granted at this point.
You're just not assuming you're going to get a new perfect one back.
Correct. Live and learn. And I think that does it for me. Who would like to go next?
You got it, Joe.
So I Dante, if you're listening, I don't know what I did to you. I apologize. Why did you have to come into my dream and kick my ass? That was wild.
So I need to hear the story.
No, it's just, look, usually if you have a dream in which you have to get in an altercation, you usually win.
I always wake up. I never can actually
or wake up. Or wake up. I don't really, unless it's like a horror, like a nightmare where you're getting chased and shit. I don't remember losing a fight in a dream.
Do you win by a landslide or get like
usually it's a landslide.
Okay.
Usually some like Mortal Kombat combo and shit.
Oh wow. No, mine's always a scuffle.
But like he like BJJ the shit out of me in my sleep in my dream, and I woke up, I'm like, why? So just on the record, I apologize. Don't come to me in my sleep.
Like, wow. And they told you, why don't you lift that up off the floor?
Dude, that was the craziest story. I seriously, in my 39 years, I don't think I've ever gotten my ass kicked in a dream before.
I don't think I don't remember that occurring.
Ever getting your ass kicked?
In a dream.
Yeah, I've definitely taken some hits.
Yeah. I've taken hits in my dream, but like never just straight. Be the antagonist in your own goddamn dream.
I normally don't remember my dreams, but I won't totally sidebar this, but I got woke up by a dream last night. It involved a snake. There was a rattlesnake.
Trouser
the
snake.
Texas rattlesnake.
It was not Stone Cold. It was an actual snake, and I remember like Mason came out and we wrangled it and grabbed it by the back of the head. That's where you hold it, and and we killed it. We killed it somehow, and I felt really bad, and it woke me up. Not because it was shocking, but like I was sad that we killed the snake. Dude, it was a very strange dream.
I killed a snake when I still think about sometimes. It fucked me up. And like in real life, there was a snake in the garage, and like we didn't have any tools to get it out. So like I strapped a knife to a stick and I stabbed it.
I've seen, my mom.
I was
my
like
mom
16, 17 at the time. Like I still think about it now. Like
did
fucking 20 years later.
Did you smear the blood on your face?
No.
That's when you know you're a man, Joe.
We threw it in the yard.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you, I think I've only really been in one circumstance that I like really remember coming like in contact with a snake, like up close and personal. And as soon as I became aware, we social distanced. Before social distancing was cool, we were on it.
Were you outdoors somewhere?
Oh yeah, I was outside of where I work, and there was like one and I was like, nope. I'll be over here.
Yeah, I just
did somebody just go up and manhandle it?
Yeah, and not a person you'd expect.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like, what kind of experience do you have with this shit? But yeah, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, that's my only experience with a snake, in personal proximity. Like I seen them around outside, but never felt like it was in my area.
Yeah.
Usually leave well enough and know, right? You don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you kind of thing. In general is how I feel.
Yeah, I mean we have plenty of snakes on the property, but you know what, we don't have any. There's no mice to be found in our house or near our house or evidence that they're there. So I'll let the snakes roam. They're not going to eat us.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were crediting it to Butters.
Yeah, he's not chasing shit.
No, he ate them all.
Yeah, right.
He's chasing heart disease. What he said.
He has a clean bill of health. He is.
I know, that's crazy.
It's crazy. Other than being overweight,
must be good. Must be just good genes.
Must be.
Let's see.
Qui-Gon genes.
Cool.
Oh man, those fit strange.
So I saw this meme apparently in Mandalorian, and we'll get there. When he's running down the hallway, there's like a set person that you can see.
Oh yeah, you can see the watch and
and then they were like Qui-Gon jeans. That's what he's wearing.
That's awful.
Like it's weird that people don't find that in editing, like the Starbucks cup in fucking Game of Thrones.
They're just doing it so fast. But it's funny, you really wonder sometimes how many times does this shit get watched. I'm gonna try to switch out this for the another one and see if it makes a difference. But how many times does this shit get watched that nobody notices that?
Yeah,
like
yeah. I feel like, especially back in the day, I feel like now the internet is like they're gonna find it.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's whole websites I remember there used to be that points out everything in every movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, this thing that shouldn't
just
be
like
here.
Remember in Knocked Up, they were working on that website. It was like every person that gets nude.
Like, that's just
skin.
Yeah, what?
It already exists.
Dude, I miss comedies like that, man. Like I feel like we're in I feel like there hasn't been a lot of great comedies
it's
recently.
a style of comedy that's not necessarily like in right now.
Well, it's also super not PC, and that's another reason you don't see that much anymore.
Why things are less funny sometimes.
Yeah.
Recommend this week for the listen is my job is to watch people die. And again, a lot of these titles are I don't know if they're clickbaity or misleading, but like when we get into the story, it's not exactly as what you would think. But the title, like that one that I really love, my dream demon is actually my sleep paralysis demon is actually a pretty chill dude. It's a lot more serious story than it sounds. It's like a lot more deeper story than it sounds.
So let's hear it.
What?
What's the premise of this?
My job is to watch people die.
Yeah.
I don't want to give the spoiler away, but but he ends up at people's deaths. Like if you die, might be a good chance he's going to be there.
Is he a priest?
No, he's a person, a regular ass person.
Huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's strange.
That is strange. And then
is it like by luck, like dumb luck?
You had to listen to the story.
I got you.
15 minutes.
I got you.
Our Twitch shout out people from Nerd Rage that shows up. Calico Sid or Calico Kid. He comes around pretty regularly. And a new person I don't recognize, Love Wookie.
I like the name.
He like as soon as someone calls me Uncle Dolphin, and you're from Nerd Rage.
Yeah.
But thanks for stopping by. A lot more Deadly Woman. Like some of them get to me.
Talk about
it. Two things. My thought is the death sentence. Like I know it's controversial for many reasons, but sometimes I'm like, it's not that controversial. You catch someone strangling a baby, you should just fucking probably kill that person. As a society, like they're doing no good for society. First of all, they are a fucking monster. You can't fix or recover from a person who's willing to strangle a baby.
Yeah, I think that like a lot of people, and I'm with you. I think that a lot of people agree with you, even people that are on the anti-death penalty argument. The problem is delineating it down or branching that thing down to like, okay, so you caught this person strangling a child in front of you. That
right. That's the thing. Like whether
if it's 100% beyond any fucking shadow of a doubt,
exactly.
then it's a heinous act.
Yeah,
I'm with you. The problem is when you find out like 10 years later, like, oh fuck, we killed the wrong one.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like that's what I'm saying. I understand why it's debatable, but certain cases, or like if you fucking caught on camera, fucking shooting up a fucking school, like
I think it's twofold. It's certain cases and certain evidence. It's both. It has to be of a particular type of case, and then there has to be a particular type of evidence.
Right.
Yes.
Because some people are just like, no, never. I'm like,
right. No, I'm with you.
Only sense
I'm
to
with
it,
you.
absolute.
I'm with you. Like,
and some people want to kill them all. I'm like, that's not cool either.
The punishment needs to fit the crime.
Yeah.
And like, in my opinion,
I mean, it comes down to, especially like as conflicted American justice system, right? Mm-hmm. Whether we're talking about punishment or rehabilitation, because people always talk about, are we talking about justice? Are we talking about revenge? And I'm like, that's a fine line, bro.
Yep.
Sometimes people need to be punished.
Yeah.
And sometimes people should be rehabilitated.
I think that most of the time the difference is the person pulling the trigger.
Well, you got other situations. Like I read this article the other day. It was about this couple that was on trial for they had taken in these foster kids, and long story short, a couple years later, one of them has been locked in a room with a box spring. And like they feed him once a day. He is like a 14-year-old, weighed like 50 pounds or something.
Wow.
Yeah, and they got at the same time they're posting on Instagram the pictures from their dog's birthday party. And they got like 12 years. And the judge said if this was up to me, if you had, because they pled out or whatever, you'd be in jail for the rest of your life. I mean that's punished. There's no rehabilitation. That's punishment for a horrible decision.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like certain crimes, if you're as a person, human being, able to do certain things, there's no rehabilitating you. There's something just fundamentally wrong.
And
with your brain.
the whole plea thing it's like playing Let's Make a Deal. Like we can look behind curtain number 1 if you plead not guilty, curtain number 2 if you plead guilty. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you see that on the show too. It's like, this person murdered, like just fucking calculated murdered somebody, and they get like fucking 12 years.
Right.
It's like, and this other person who in the heat of the moment like caught somebody in bed, grabbed a gun, shot him, and 25. I'm like, I don't understand the system.
No, I agree.
I
agree. And I mean, a lot of it comes down to who your lawyer is, and
how much money you're putting into it.
And also these stories are through the ages, like from 1800s even. Yeah. So like, and you can really see like the difference back in the day.
Because I mean, I think there's a big like, and not that I think both people have committed a crime, in my opinion. I think both people deserve consequences, in my opinion. But I don't think the consequences should be equal. The people that like didn't vaccinate their kid and all this other shit, and the fucking kid died. I think it was a Canadian couple. And like, but they went above and beyond, like with the shit they wouldn't do for him medically because of they
don't want to be natural or whatever. They don't take him to the
correct.
doctor. They want to like rub
killed
ginger
this
on his
kid, right? And like that negligence is not the same as the person strangling the baby.
Yes.
You know, and they both, in my opinion, deserve punishments, but the punishments aren't equal. Like, it's just like, crime, punishment, the appropriate punishment for the appropriate crime. I get into this conversation a lot with like, friends that I have debates with, especially regarding, police brutality and stuff of that nature, where, some particular, and anybody that knows me knows that I have complicated views on it. I don't plant solely squarely on one side of the argument. I'm against police brutality, period.
Right.
But other factors are more complicated.
Yeah, you're not just anti-cops per se. Because
Far
some people just become anti-cops.
Far from it. But like, I've had people on some sides of the argument be like, well, if they weren't committing a crime, it doesn't fucking matter because the crime and the punishment don't match up.
Right.
The crime and the punishment always need to match up. It's when it doesn't match up that's when it becomes brutal.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, they have to, just like with the cruel and unusual punishment thing. It's like, well, it's cruel and unusual depending on what you did.
Correct.
Like, yeah, you put someone in a solitaire for like stealing a cigarette. It's not right.
So that there's a hard conversation to get into, because like there's sometimes where like do you consider your morals universal?
No, I don't think morals are universal.
No,
I mean also based on the fact that some of these people don't think they did anything wrong. Like it's just like anything else. There's a big crossover average. Like 90% of people think the same things are right and wrong, but outside of the 90%, it's fucking anyone's guess.
Because like there's some shit where I'm like, man, like I don't know. Like
some people
probably
think
a conversation for another time.
Like some people think it's okay to key up someone's car for cheating on you, and I'm like, no, man, that's not okay.
No, that's not okay.
But some people do think.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like there is a gray area in what people think is okay or not okay.
I bet you. Let me ask you a question. If you ever were to have a fallout with your significant other, God forbid, do you think that it would play out on social media?
Absolutely not.
No.
Mine either. I wonder what it is about certain couples that shit definitely 100% plays out on social media.
I mean, like, it's a different kind of relationship. Their relationship probably play on social media, period, to begin with.
That's fair. Like, that's a fair point.
The people who bake books or like share like really personal things,
right? Or always in front of the rustic barn,
right? Or you see a lot of people that like, instead of just, if I see something on Facebook I either think's funny or interesting, I will just send it to Kelly in a message, or I won't post it. People post on like, it'd be like
tag.
Like me posting your, hey Joe, look at it's so funny, instead of just sending it to you. I'm like, Why?
Yeah, that's. I mean, we do that. We send each other messages on funny stuff.
Yeah.
But other than like if it's funny for everybody, but especially
exactly.
addressed towards you because it applies to you more.
Right.
Yeah. Or me posting on Kelly. I really want to go here.
Oh yeah. That's weird. That's just DM. You can slide into your own wife's DM.
Yeah. Or just let me know over dinner.
Right.
What if a couple fell apart and they had a joint account and they were just, you had to really pay attention to the stream because you didn't know who was saying what.
Yeah.
Do people are not? I think we're too used to cell phones and stuff. Like you don't know how many of these motherfucking people get caught with murders because they text about the murder. No. And they're like, nah, we got the record right here, bro. You said murder him at 8.
I'll tell you, I took last week off on social media. Like, I just tried it. Like, I didn't post. I mean, I still scrolled from now and then, you know what I mean? But I didn't post anything. I didn't, promote anything. I didn't, I was just, if I felt like posting something, like if something happened where I was like, man, look at this little fucking thing I stumbled across here. You ever seen a screwdriver look like this? Like, something stupid or whatever. Like, I would post that, but like, I didn't post any of my videos. I didn't post any of my teasers. And like, I gotta tell you, I quite enjoyed it.
Right.
Did you see any difference in the amount of people that watched your stuff?
I haven't looked at the numbers.
I'm just curious if that makes any difference.
I can tell you that my socials didn't perform as well, like at all.
Yeah.
But I hate the new Instagram layout anyway.
Oh my gosh, that rolled out so strange. So I have several Instagrams, but I've yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard to set up a Instagram. So I've got a personal one. And I've got the Crash Box one's the main, the main two, and then the Realm one's in there too. But I don't really do anything with that one anymore because other people do. But it changed on my Crash Box one like 2 months ago, and I was like,
oh really?
Maybe because it's set as a business page.
Uh-huh.
And then I saw other people bitching about it, and I'm like, oh, they're changing for everybody. Yeah, it's very awkward. It's very driven toward doing that whole Reels thing.
And to get TikTok out of here. Yeah. And it's set on and the money aspect is now at the forefront, right?
Well, I've looked in so I can sell stuff for my website through Instagram by just setting up that. So maybe something to look into.
Yeah.
I don't like that they took out the time thing because of
what time
of election misinformation or whatever. You don't get that when you like search for stuff or you look at hashtags.
The hashtags are all fucked up for a long time.
Because there's two. Like one is like
recent
ones. The recent one's been taken out because
really,
yeah, they said no recent ones.
Is it not back yet?
No, not on mine still.
That sucks because
I'd like to watch the recent ones.
I don't want to see the most popular ones
because it's the same shit over and over again.
Shit over and over again.
Exactly. I want to see the update.
Right.
So they said they took that out because of the election stuff. I'm like, dude, isn't that over?
Hate to hear it.
And I never watched Chicago, right? I still haven't.
The show?
And I definitely still won't.
The musical?
The movie.
Oh, okay.
The movie. I know it's much beloved.
It's a musical, right? Yes, I'm out.
Did you see it, Shankaran?
What is this? It's a newspaper. No. It's arrived. Let's read the headlines and see who's alive and who has died.
I love to just walk around my house singing and like I'm in a musical.
Dude, I hate a fucking musical. I have never.
I'm not a fan.
I've never.
I like them.
Well, I respect them as an art. But that's where it starts and stops for me.
Well, hang on. Let me ask you this: where do you draw the line? Hang on. Like Disney animated movies, like The Lion King. Is that a musical?
It is. All of them are musicals, I think.
So I would say it's diet musical.
Okay.
Like there's musicals where like
is Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory a musical?
Diet.
Okay, that's the only thing I can really
like. There's some where it's like Chicago, Moulin Rouge, like that shit where it's like songs after song after song.
There's like almost no dialogue.
Almost like no dialogue. Yeah. That to me is what I'm talking about when I say musical. The Disney shit and like cartoon kids shit.
Broadway stuff. Like, what? Have you ever gone to Broadway? Like, watch a musical?
No, I would never. I mean,
because I don't know if it's different. Because some people are like, I'll watch a musical as a play, but not as a.
Well, that's
movie.
what I'm saying. I probably saw it when I was a kid at like the school. Beautiful, beautiful Copenhagen. Like, I was like, dude, Hans Christian Andersen. Like, if you don't shut the fuck up, it's like, dude, inchworm, measuring the measurements. It could be you'd stop and see how beautiful they are. 2 by 2 is 4. 4 by 4 is 8.
And 16
8
actually.
by 8 is 16. 16 by 16 is 32. Inchworm. No, get that shit
Dude,
the fuck out of here.
Why are you so good at it, though?
Yeah, you
should write some musical.
That's what he was talking about. See that thing at the top?
Yeah.
Let me see.
That do the recent elections or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
just showing Bobby.
But there's still no recents.
No,
No, there's
you
no
can't.
reasons.
It just has
Trash.
that instead.
So like the first picture I click on is from 2 days ago.
Social media creators, there's a platform to be created out there. Instagram has managed to fuck it up.
Yeah, and not fix it. But they covered. I didn't know this because I know nothing about Chicago. Watching Deadly Women. One of the cases on there is what Chicago is based on, and I don't fucking understand why people like.
Oh, really?
The fucking movie. I asked Krista, I think she watched it, and she's like, is the story any different? She's like, I don't think so. I think it's the same story. It's fucking awful. It's about a fucking bitch who, like, sleeps around and then killed somebody and then and got away with it.
Harlot.
Because she's a woman, and then she wanted to be famous. And now she's basically famous because there's a fucking musical after her.
She would have an IG.
She shot a dude in the back and said it was self-defense. And then she got away with it. Because she's... Oh, and she pretends to be pregnant, and then it was back in the day. It was all male jury, and they just let her go, apparently. But I'm like, why would you fucking praise a story like that? There's a difference in fictional villains. I understand the appreciation of fictional villains, right? People who like Joker and stuff.
Agreed.
But if it's based on a real story, I don't understand how you can like it. Like, I know, like there's Charles Manson stories and stuff and documentaries, and people are interested because it's an interesting case.
Yeah, I think.
But I don't think they're.
I think when you root for the killer,
right.
that's yes.
When they're the protagonist.
Yes. Because you can still enjoy the story. Like I'll tell you, like I watched the like there was 2 of them, so I always get confused which one I like. But I think one was made for TV, and one came out in the movie theater about the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania during 9/11.
Yeah.
There's like United
93
is one, and then the other one was like Flight 93.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure United 93 was the one in theaters. And like I thought it was powerful and moving, and thoroughly enjoyed the film within the context of what the film was and means and all those sorts of things, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
But when I'm like, yeah, get those box cutters, get in there and take control of the plane, and that's when you're like, no, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Right.
Fucking exactly. So, yeah. But almost, I'm sad. I'm almost done with what they have available. I'm going to have to pirate the old episodes. So only like season 8 through current is on Hulu. 1 through 7 is missing. So I'm going to have to like try and find that somewhere. And I think... Oh, and not having bought anything recently, I don't want to mention this. Like,
Over it?
No. I started accumulating money. So like my next mortgage payment isn't due till June.
Are you serious?
Yeah, June 1st is my next mortgage payment. I've just been throwing it in the house, and I was like, oh, that's good. In case I die, Krista don't have to worry about the mortgage for 6 months.
So are you just going to keep 6 months ahead on it?
Or more, I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah, at least 6 months. Like I'm already there, so if I just keep making monthly payments, I am. Because like most people, as Americans, are 2 paychecks away from fucking disaster, right? So if I'm 6 months ahead in mortgage, that should give me some leeway.
It's true.
I have a low burn life. I don't have a fucking expensive car. It's paid off, and I don't have a lot of bills other than my cell phone and regular bills. So
it's true. I mean, like,
I've only been working like 4 days a week.
I feel like you get the horn.
Yeah, there's a balance in there, Joe, and I'm happy you found it because I've been around you when you were super stressed about work and super stressed about
when I was working 6-7 days a week.
The other side of it. So I'm glad you found the happy balance.
Yeah, like I'm just chilling, doing 40K, twitching,
just laying on the ground, just twitching.
like fucking relapse, like we're going into relapse.
Is that an Atlanta dance? Twitching.
So you know what's funny about the Twitch thing? Side note: when you started getting heavy on it, I was like, I wonder when the situation is going to arise where Joe can't do something because he's twitching. And it happened. I was like, you free Tuesday? And he was like, till 4, then I got Twitch.
I'm in.
But I just...
I get it.
Yeah, not good, bad, or indifferent. I was just like, I wonder if and when this circumstance is going to exist. When
Right.
this, when when you go to the fair or whatever, you drop the ball down, you're supposed to guess which one it lands in. Like I was like, when is that
pachinko machine?
When is that ball going to land in that thing? And it finally did. So Joe's only free today until 4 to help me put this Magic case together.
Because it's a schedule. It's not like a job, but it's like a job now.
Yeah. And then you were talking about collections and furniture.
Yes, especially when you're talking about Magic case. Like, so I've been forced to, as you know now with Instagram, I've been forced to scroll random.
Right.
Because I can't look at the tags I want to. And I just see stuff sometimes I don't understand. Like a really nicely set up bunch of shelves, a full wall full of shelves lit with LEDs and just action figures on them that aren't particularly good or posed. Just a rack of action figures, balls. And then on the floor is just all the play sets of He-Man just sitting there.
He-Man. Yeah, He-Man.
And I'm like, you poop.
Yeah, He-Man.
Like if you took all the figures off, right?
That's a trash ass villain voice, by the way.
But
Skeletor's.
it's so iconic.
Yeah.
If you took all those figures off, you'd be, oh man, that's a nice display set. I wonder what they're gonna put on there.
Right.
And then that's not what you would have guessed.
So we're not putting Marvel Legends in the Maju cases.
No.
I mean, they might as well have been Marvel Legends, like 100th of them on well lit shelf, and I guess that's no good way to display play sets. Just giant fucking castles, and Snake Mountain
Those
just on the floor.
little lack tables are like $20. They're like 2 feet off the ground. I've got 3 or 4 of them in my house that have just piles of shit on them, basically. But that'd be great to put something.
Yeah,
like that
I think
on.
tables. Again, I don't even know what places aside from the He-Man. Aside from those
Have
two.
you seen that Snake Mountain that just come out?
That's what I'm saying. Snake
Holy
Mountain
shit.
and Grayskull. Aside from those two, I don't know if there's any place sets really worth displaying.
Right, they're for playing.
Usually for children.
Yes,
They're like, dude, I used to play sets that you enjoyed as a kid is another good conversation.
never afford play sets.
I had one hand-me-down. It was a play set made for army men.
Yeah.
Like
I probably know exactly what you're talking
It was
about.
that like boulder mountain thing.
Yep.
It was missing all sorts of pieces and shit. But like, dude, that fucking thing doubled for everything with my. But like, it was like it was super out of scale. Like Magneto would have had to like crawl out of the door to like stand up and address the crowd. But he did it in my world because he was standing on that fucking ledge, and the only way to get there would have been to crawl out that little door.
Yeah, I had Hot Wheels, hand-me-down Hot Wheels, and Hot Wheels Garage was my Transformers and Metroplex. In my head.
I get it though. I get it.
Did you guys?
I had a back cave too.
I think we talked about Hot Wheels before. Did you guys do heavy Hot Wheels at all? Like the little cars when you were kids?
I mean, I had those hand-me-downs, and then as soon as I could afford real toys, I got rid of them.
I wasn't heavy on it, but I had some, and I would take them out to like the sandbox or whatever, and I would put my hand underneath the sand, and I would build a tunnel, and then I would drive them over and under the tunnel.
So what you're saying is the wheels were really great after that, right?
Yeah, probably. I didn't give a fuck about
We
it.
had these. Me and my brother had. I mean, it was $1 for a Hot Wheel, so you could normally talk a parent into letting you get a Hot Wheels when you went to the store, 79 cents or whatever. So we have. And it's funny. I have all those still, like the majority of them. They're in Charlie's room. The axles are all bent, but they made these play sets. It was about this big, and it flipped open, and it had like a ramp, and it had a little garage. I just have fond memories of playing with those.
Sounds like Mighty
Wait,
Max.
it opened up?
No, it opened up like.
like
I'll find you a picture.
I think I had one that was like a parking garage, and it opened up in the middle. It was like this, and then it
I
opened
split
up.
open, and you can get the innards.
And the innards you could store the Matchbox cars.
Yep. I always like
And had a
those.
ramp, like the exit to the, or like when you close it, it formed a ramp around the outside, so you could like drive them down.
Yeah, it's these.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't have that.
Yeah, we had like three.
There was like a one that was like a zoo that looked like that. I felt like
Really?
like a play like for little kids. Like you would see it at like a dentist office or something. It was like a little. There was like a little den for the lion and a little cage for the monkey.
Well, yeah, I remember the box. They called that one was called the service center. I remember getting
The service center.
I like the sound of it. I'll tell you that much.
There you go. I mean, we had I had the flag. Have I told you guys that story about
Yes,
getting
that's
that like
crazy.
on the low, like for and I had like the original G.I. Joe base, like the one that came.
What it looks like.
I don't even. I remember the Terradome.
So in the cartoon, the one that always looked like it was smiling, the beginning of the G.I. Joe cartoon. It's got a big like gun in the middle on one side. It's got like a jail in it. It's got like a lift you can put the Jeeps on and stuff.
Everything had a jail.
Yeah.
He-Man had a jail. Mask had a jail.
Yeah.
I think even Batman had a jail. Batman.
Castle Grayskull would have been the other, but as far as place, well, I take that back. It was a Sears catalog mail away piece. It was a cardboard Cobra playset. They actually redid it for SDCC a couple years ago.
So I had the cardboard Transformer playset.
Okay.
I'm guessing it's similar
thing. It was like, I think it was like JCPenney or Sears. You got that and like a Cobra Commander and 2 Cobra officers.
Probably worked well for G.I. Joe's. It was trash with Transformers. You put one fucking toy on it, the whole fucking thing would bow.
It was more just a background.
Yeah.
It's strange how
ours had levels
working out for me now. But
and that makes you want to make dioramas now.
I think there's definitely a psychological connection between dioramas and playsets.
Because look at the catalog.
Yeah.
The catalogs, the cartoons, they always had playsets and stuff.
And
in the commercials.
Like
the
commercials.
I was like, Dad, drive me to a canyon.
I remember I had ordered the Duke. He was a mail away at first. So I'd ordered my Duke, so I clip my little flag points and check the mail every day for probably a year, and it finally shows up. And we were up at my grandparents' house, and they had a house on top of a mountain, literally.
The mountains.
And my uncle at the time and my grandfather and my dad were digging, they were putting in a satellite dish. A satellite dish. So they were digging like a ditch to run the cables and everything.
Oh, I already know where this is.
And I'm out there playing with my guy, and my uncle says, "Dirt clod on G.I. Joe," and he throws it, and I lose a gun. He great shot. Just, I'm like, oh. And I'm looking around, because I had me a little Ziploc bag with all this.
Oh, dude.
We did find the gun.
My guns were fucking... I mean, I probably had a 24-hour window for most.
Dude,
I've
watched you personally. Watched you lose a fucking accessory in the car because you couldn't fucking wait.
I have a Vader that came from Bobby's possession.
Oh, stop! I knew you were going to.
That doesn't have a saber hilt.
My Maja cases might be sitting outside.
Oh boy, do we need to take a break and bring them in?
No.
Okay.
No. Whoever would steal them would be in for
more
work than it'd be worth for them.
Hardly disappointed.
They've been on a boat for months. This weather is not going to do anything.
Yeah, you're right. No salt air is going to get to them.
To tie back real quick,
but like certain things, it's hard to like. You had problems with Transformers.
100%.
But like, I can imagine it'd be hard to display all of your playsets. But I can imagine also in the module case, it would, if each module of a module case has one playset with spotlights on it, like a display piece, like in the museum.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
and then put some figures around it.
Yeah,
like
not too much,
like an ad in a Sears catalog.
Exactly,
not too much.
Like it would be like a little time capsule. Mm-hmm. Each block, how module cases have frames. Each block would have one, and not just all of them spread out on the floor. And sometimes the money that you spent on a collection doesn't look like the money you spent on a collection because of how it's.
Exactly.
Well, it was so much effort for this person to put out these shelves.
So, and I was saying to you prior to is that there's a balance. There's a balance to strike. You can have $20 toys look ridiculous in $1,000 case.
Yeah, I've seen chugs in module cases.
You can have $1,000 toy look ridiculous in a $20 case. And like the idea, and you made a good point where you were like, it shouldn't be too much. It's not about the value of one and the value of the other. It's the what did you call it?
It's the class of.
Yeah, but you had a word. Fuck, I can't remember the word that you choose, but it was spot. I think you said grade.
Yeah,
the grade of one to the grade of the other, because like there was somebody from the Nerds Have Spoken podcast. Shout out to them. They put up a post on their Instagram that caught my eye, and they've got this. I mean. It's a wall of details.
It's Wolfenstein stuff.
Wolfenstein. Shout out to Wolfenstein. Who I fuck with that dude heavy. Like I feel like he's one of those dudes in the background that like doesn't get mentioned or shouted out a lot, but he's a good dude.
Right on.
He is building this in Wolfenstein. I'm not getting on you. I'm just using you as an example, perhaps unfairly. My apologies in advance. Really well done. Takes up the space. Looks like he's got room for one or two more, to be honest, but I didn't look at it too in depth. They're all lit, and then the cap, and I'm like, damn, that's sharp. It's a sharp looking wall, sharp looking space, and then I see underneath there now to fill it with robots, and I was like, oh no, Wolfenstein, not. Be careful. Be careful with that word fill. And I don't mean Maryland fill.
That's identical to the wall we have in the office.
Yes. So same vibe,
Yep.
right? Sharp.
Yep.
But you
with a painted wall in the back too.
Yes.
Yeah. But depends on what you put in there.
Yes. So like that's the thing I was like when people start talking about DTOFs and robots and why I'm anti. I'm not anti. It's the right tool for the right job. So Fans Toys Jetfire. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Fans Toys Six Shot. Perfect. The entire cast of season 1, dumb.
Well, there's a way to display Transformers in a DTOF. I mean, there's a way to do 6-inch figures in a DTOF. Yeah. And if you just shove a bunch of stuff in there, I mean,
it depends on your layout.
I joked the other day, but if you could take the top off your DTOF and just pour in enough right. and then put a shelf, and then season 1, season 2, season 3, and then the Japanese stuff on top.
Even with putting them in a DTOF, I don't think you can do it.
You can only have a certain amount
because you can only put so many in one,
like 3.
Like when you do the risers, like InstaSam does those risers with 1/12 scale. Looks great. Mm-hmm. He doesn't.
It's a very minimal display, though.
Very minimal. He doesn't overdo it. They're all posed to perfection. Mm-hmm. Like you can tell he takes time with each figure in there in the pose of it, and it's well done. The amount of characters, but like if you look at what he does, like he'll do X-Men Blue Team. So we're talking about like five characters, 6-inch. Right, he'll do the movie Batman stuff. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters maybe, and I got them all in a little bit. Like you know what I mean?
Yep.
And looks fine. The problem is when people put like, I mean, it'll be like 7 characters, like Transformers, like that are all the middle grade height wise is the cars.
Yep.
So it's like. It just looks like this sea of glass and then this pile of things. Yep. And then another sea of glass and a pile of things. And it's just not easy. It's just like it's not a natural fit. I'm not saying you can't work it. Yeah. I agree that you can, but it's going to take, I think, more DTOFs than any man has ever made in order to kind of give each character its proper shine.
And also, like, I think to be clear, it's like not to shit on DTOFs. I think it's
Correct.
gotten to the point where people are like, they think it's cool to make fun of DTOFs. Like, no,
right
DTOFs
tool for
are
the
great.
right job.
Yeah, like you put 1 6-inch 1/6 scale statue or figure in each. It looks great.
Yeah.
Put 3 in each. You can fit it in there.
Yep.
But it's going to look like trash.
Well, so
it depends on how
it depends because I have some that I have like three in.
They're all 2.
No. In here they are. Out there, there's 3, and it's fine. Like Han and Chewie in the back, Leia in the front. Yeah, fine.
They're also different heights.
Correct. There's different dynamics to all of it. You know, it's like you just have to be aware of it. And then sometimes, like those DC ones, the movie ones, it's only one, with the exception of Suicide Squad. It's 1 figure per shelf, and it's too much.
I hate those bases.
It's the bases.
I mean, each figure needs its own room to breathe, and each figure doesn't require the same amount of room.
Correct.
Like Aquaman, at least a lot more room than fucking
Leia. He's got to be able to turn around and look over his shoulder.
That being said, Wolfenstein, I am begging you to prove me wrong because I want your display to look nice, and I want to see it when it's populated. But it's just like when I saw it, I was like, damn, looks good. And then when I saw the caption, I was like, because like here's the thing, like even the Seekers, the moment you put 3 Seekers in a DTOF, you're fucked. And you got to put. I feel like most people want to put the 3 together.
You wouldn't have 2. It's either 1 or 3.
And it's like the wingspan is just the wingspan eats up so much space across, and it still doesn't fill the space properly vertically.
No, there's either 2 in the front, 1 in the back on a riser. Like Starship in the back on a riser, and then the other 2 in the front.
It's usually 2 in the back, 1 in the front, but whatever. Mm-hmm. That's a sex joke.
220, 225, whatever works.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it. But like, it's the same thing. Like the masterpieces, I think I think generally speaking, the Fans Toy stuff outclasses a bookshelf. Mm-hmm. But it's still it's in the ballpark.
What if I told you that this may, and I'm just speculating based on what your purchases look like, Eric, that this is going to be a G1 collection displayed and not Masterpiece. Because he's heavy in G1. Like, you know, he travels for work and he's always finding this robot I don't even recognize from
so I think
the deep cuts.
I think with that, it's all about how you set up the display.
It's all about the space.
Yep, and how you because I mean, like if people start breaking out of the confines of completionist shelves, you can make some interesting stuff. Like if you put like something in box in front of something that's not in something that's, you know, like then
like my Zuvio collection.
Perfect example, Chris.
You asked me for a picture of that recently. Did you use that somewhere that I haven't seen?
Yes, I think I used it on a Force Friday.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so like that's the thing is like I think that display-wise, breaking out of the confines of here's the cast of characters, and I'll tell you, I've only come to that conclusion from building these displays in here, these bookshelf displays, where I'm like, you know what, it doesn't really like. I love Adam West NECA 7-inch Batman next to huge Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller statue Batman. I don't need them to be in the same scale. I don't need them to, like, with the book behind it in a little mother box. I'm happy. Like, I don't know. It's like breaking the rules, but finding the right way to break them.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, when the rubber meets the road at 7 p.m.
after dinner,
like, it's art. It's subjective. So, like,
sure.
if you like fucking ass to nuts, fucking just standing straight up and down, rows and rows of 6-inch figures.
Did you say bros and rows?
I like that.
And you like it? That's great. But, you know, if you share it on Instagram, you might get don't be mad if you get shut on.
Well, and the other thing is that, like,
if you like it, you win.
If you like it, you win.
Exactly.
But, like, I'm not the guy that's going to have the silhouette of the cowboy leaning up against a tree outside of my house, or the lady she's bent over picking up something and her underpants are showing, her
the
bloomers,
flamingos,
you know, or that, like, you know. But people love that shit.
Lawn gnomes.
You're not
That's
gonna,
so
you're not
funny
gonna
you
catch
said that about the cowboy, because I hadn't seen one of those. I've been taking the back way here lately just because they're working on the interstate, and it's a pain in the dick. So I just come the back way, and I saw one of those in somebody's house. Except you need to have it leaning against an edge somewhere, and it was just kind of floating in the middle of this. I'm like,
they couldn't even get that right.
That could be scary.
So anyway, but yeah, I think I like, you know, and Jiska said it to me sometimes too. He's like, these motherfuckers have thousands of dollars of toys sitting in a $20 Target bookcase.
Yep,
and it's like that is not the way.
What about $20 chugs in a fucking $1,000 Magic case?
And that's the opposite, right? Like
it depends on what you do with it. You could make a $20 Target bookcase look as nice as anything else. It just depends. But if you've got, you know, 10 years of Marvel Legends, everything you've bought shoved in that bookcase, it probably doesn't look great.
Correct.
And you need to buy a dirty mattress for that.
Yeah,
only to sell. Oh, and unless
that's a lot only.
Listen, we're getting rid of constraints today. You can now display on the dirty mattress.
Well, Robert said I should take out this entire section and put a mattress against the wall and tape all of my Marvel Legends to it.
I think that's a good idea.
That'd be amazing.
So, like, if I had unlimited money, unlimited resources, I would do
unlimited mattresses,
unlimited space. I would do a mattress wall as like a gag, but like a single. I would use like leftover Legends that I want to sell. You could actually buy them off the mattress.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Listen, there's a huge opportunity here. It's called a Murphy bed. Are you familiar?
Oh yeah.
That's the new display. Yeah. The Murphy bed, and then you can have figures on the back wall of it, and you flip it down.
Yeah.
Play area.
Love it.
It's all coming together.
Love to see it.
It's all coming together.
Chris, how was your nerd week?
It was pretty good. I will. On the drive here, I had something interesting happen. Now, you guys know that I obviously live in the woods a lot further deeper than you guys do, so I see plenty of wildlife. I often see
deer.
I see
raccoons.
Let's focus on the deer for just a sec. A raccoon. I don't know that I've actually seen a raccoon.
No?
Foxes?
Have not seen. I might have seen a
squirrels
fox.
to boot.
Squirrels just
they're left.
There's
you're tripping over them.
It's crazy. Chipmunks. Snakes, obviously.
Yes.
But when I see deer, I see does and fawns. So just the ladies and the babies. Never see a buck.
Yeah,
really.
On my way over here, in a field, you know, at the edge of the woods, I saw 2 bucks fighting.
What?
Locked up. The antlers locked up. I have never in my life seen that.
I've only seen 2 bucks in my life. One was with you.
Yeah.
We were driving that day that we went hunting after after
Yeah.
COVID.
We saw that.
We saw that one bug, and I was like, I think that's the only bug I've ever seen in my life. And then I saw another one like last week.
But to see two, like,
Yeah, never.
I was on the phone with my buddy from work, and I'm like, he's from Tennessee. It's like, holy shit, there's like $2. He's like, what? I was like, and I had to explain to him. He's like, really? It's very odd to see that, and then not be on Mutual Omaha's Wild Kingdom or something. So that was cool.
Yeah.
It's a very pretty drive to come that back way, actually, more than the interstate in town. I watched a movie. Dust has been going on about this movie. I think he said he's seen it 7 or 8 times. I might have known it was coming out. It came out in January, so it pretty much just got buried under the world falling apart. It's Guy Ritchie's last movie. It's called The Gentleman.
Okay.
It's fucking phenomenal.
Really?
Oh my god, it's such a good movie. Like, I can see why he's watched it 7 times.
Like, where does it compare in terms of Snatch and Lockstock?
It's easier to watch than those, I think, because there is some heavy accent still. But Matthew McConaughey's the lead.
Okay.
He does not put on British airs. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
And it's got Colin Farrell's in it, and Charlie Hunnam, Sons of Anarchy guy.
Okay.
He's in it. Hugh Grant is in it.
He's great.
In a million years, you wouldn't expect him to play this.
Yeah, he's
this role. It's a high recommend from me.
The Gentleman.
Yeah, The Gentleman. I don't know where it's available.
Oh, God.
I mean, you have to pay $3 to watch it.
I'm going to tell my wife right now.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think who else is. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's, of course, kind of a twist to the whole story, and even the twist has a twist in it. And it's basically about the underground marijuana industry in England.
Love to hear it.
Yeah. It's, I just have to say, I mean, I was.
Yeah, dude, I
hate I hadn't watched it yet.
I think I'd have to get the list out, but I think I far prefer more of his work than I don't.
Probably not the one with Madonna in it.
So never seen it.
I haven't either.
Never
Slept
seen
away.
it. And I'm gonna give it.
Let's look it up real quick.
Yeah,
I want to see
please.
what his.
I'm gonna shoot it some bail, and here's why I'm gonna shoot it some bail. People trashed that movie Jersey Girl by Kevin Smith.
Okay.
And I never seen it, but I was like, fucking he got what was it, Bat and Jennifer Lopez. What was they were a thing, right?
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez and yeah,
Ben Lowe or
yeah,
some shit like that. Benifer is what, right? And I saw it and I was like, I liked it. It's a nice little story. I don't need to own it.
Right.
It's not fucking.
But you didn't
Clerks.
You didn't regret watching
I
it.
was like, a nice little story, a little quaint town. This little couple making their way through the world. I'm okay with it, So I will watch the Madonna one, even though I know that she probably fucking had her way with it.
Yeah, probably so. And he's done a lot of stuff that I honestly forget that he did the Sherlock Holmes movie.
Yes, both of them, right? Just the first one.
So I like both of them.
Yeah,
Lock, Stock, Snatch.
Perfect.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I talked about that a few months ago.
I haven't seen it, but I want to see it.
He wrote that. It didn't say direct. He directed The Gentleman.
I mean, it was direct. It felt like his.
Felt
movie,
like a Guy Ritchie
movie. Yeah. And Hugh Grant was in that one too.
He did that King Arthur movie. I loved that.
I have not watched that.
People felt the way about it. I loved it.
The premise just turned me off.
Yeah, I all I can say is I enjoyed it. I like, and the music was fucking hot.
It's a bop.
It was like sound like in my head when you're older than 60 and Irish and in a bar, it fits your natural state.
I cannot relate to any of those things.
No, but in my head, well, I'm part Irish.
I didn't realize he directed the live-action Aladdin movie. Guy Ritchie.
I did not know that either.
Really?
That's
wow.
I thought that was fine.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fine. And I don't. I will say this: him being a director that is not heavy into the CG stuff in anything I've ever seen, I give him kudos for pulling it off the way he did. Because I mean, imagine that's challenging to learn that technical skill set. I'm sure there's 28 associate producers that
right.
Worked on all the ILM stuff or whatever. So I was watching this thing about like what's your favorite Thanksgiving food dish or whatever. Right. What's your favorite Thanksgiving?
Usually rolls.
The roll. Okay, Joe. What Thanksgiving meals? What's your
mashed potatoes?
Well, that's
stuffing. Stuffing.
And my wife's that pumpkin cheesecake.
So you're just bread and dessert guy.
Yeah,
just carbs.
And what's funny is I'm not usually a dessert guy.
He's 12 years old.
I'm not like that's not usually my bag. But like that
thing,
and I don't like cheesecake
Yeah,
generally
on the regular.
But that I'm a little vigilant of how big the slices are that she gives to other people. like
keeping your eye on.
Yeah, like, you don't need it. He didn't need that much. Look at him,
Joe. What?
you know,
this is a part of the country separation here. What do you call stuffing?
Stuffing.
Tell me what it is.
it's like breads and some
Breads. Okay.
Yeah, it's like croutons.
yeah, like wet croutons.
So is it like stovetop stuffing, but fancier? Is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know what goes in. I don't cook. It's a bunch of shit in there, obviously.
they do put some extra shit. I like
just bread.
I like a simple stuffing. I don't like it when it gets too exotic. I don't want any greens popping up.
I don't want crunchy. I don't like crunchy carrots. People put crunchy carrots in there. No,
I don't like a cooked carrot. Period.
that's some white people shit.
I don't like a raw carrot.
Raisins. We put raisins.
Oh yeah,
I'm
dude.
just kidding.
I've seen fucking stuffing with raisins in it.
I love that raisins have become like a joke for what people
But
put
it's
in
goddamn
things.
true.
So-
Chicken salad with raisins.
Nature's
salad
candy.
with raisins.
You're talking about nature's candy, man. Relax.
So this stuffing you eat when you're
dressing. Some people call
okay.
it dressing.
There's a difference, and that's what I'm getting to.
Oh,
So down south in Alabama,
where are you from?
it's cornbread dressing. So it's made with cornbread.
Oh, okay.
And
I like cornbread.
It's very
I do
good.
not.
I don't like cornbread with
Explain-
corn in it.
explain. There's a lot.
I hate that.
I don't like it.
I hate that.
Like with like actual kernels in the bread.
Yeah.
I'll pick the bitch
don't
out.
mind
Let
it.
me tell you something.
I don't
Keep
mind
your fucking fruits and vegetables out of my carbs.
Except for raisins.
No, I don't like them.
You don't
either.
want raisin bread?
No, I hate raisins. Period.
Banana bread?
You just
I like the California raisins.
Thanos? No, Thanos.
I remember as a child that happened. The ads happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Hardee's.
Yeah, they had the little toys.
That's the only place you could get them.
Yep, I got some. I like the
have
one with the
them too.
glasses.
I have some of them.
He was cool.
Before, and I think after that they were kind of available. But
Yeah.
So dressing is with cornbread? That's the difference?
it's cornbread dressing. So does this stuffing go inside of a turkey?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's stuffing. You just
Okay.
stuff that bitch
Yeah,
in there.
that's not something we did down south. We
Really?
didn't stuff the turkey. We had dressing on the side, which is cornbread dressing. I don't know what all was in it, but it's phenomenal.
People like sometimes we get lunch or whatever, and I'm not a big risk taker when it comes to food, and sometimes they'll give me a hard time. They'll be like, "What are you gonna get today, Bobby? Think about little chicken on the side."
Chicken on the side.
Or like somebody one time brought just recently somebody brought in a lasagna. And it was like a chicken lasagna, and then they brought in one little chicken breast on the side. They're like, "Here, and then you can have yours here." It was just a joke. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's like your banana pudding with no bananas.
Yeah, dude, that shit.
With no bananas.
Love to see it. Love to eat it. Love to taste it.
So this thing, I don't remember what it was, but do you know what the number one dish ended up being for 2020?
No.
Masked potatoes, Joe. Instead of mashed, it's masked because, coronavirus, everybody's wearing a mask. It's masked potatoes, Joe.
You wait till like 2 hours in the show and I'm completely off guard.
Well, because Bobby did the cold open with a taco joke or
Well, his
whatever.
was
it
funny.
is.
You fuck.
Slaw bunnies. I actually had somebody get me with that. That's why I brought it, because they went to the fucking taco truck. And the guy was like, "Hey, are you going out?" Because I was going to go out. I just like to hang out, so I was going out to the truck to hang out, but not to actually buy anything. and this guy was.
What kind of guy hangs out at the taco truck?
No, I just like to go with
the vibes
with the crew.
I like the music.
I stick with my crew, and he was like, "Hey, would you mind grabbing me something?" And I was like, "Yeah, what do you want?" In my head, I was like, "You lazy motherfucker, you don't want to get out and walk, But I was like, "Yeah, what do you want?" And he was like, I want the vegetarian ones, the slaw bunnies." I was like, "What?" He's like, "The slaw bunnies." And I was like, "Slaw bunnies?" And he's like, "Yeah, slaw bunnies nuts."
I have to remember that. That's a good one. I fell into a YouTube rabbit hole recently. It's called Weird History.
Okay.
It's I don't remember what. It's one of the big content makers on there. It's kind of their subset, but what life was like during the Revolutionary War and what life was like during the Viking time. It's just interesting, and just keep watching them. And
Yeah.
it's what we know about the history of the world is obviously it's rancor. I think is the overall site.
The
This
big
is a subsite.
monster in the pit.
Yes.
Not a rancor.
with monkey arms.
Not a rancor, but Anyways, this is it's a cool just kind of random put it on the background kind of because you don't have to really watch it. You can just listen to it.
Right.
Yeah, people say like, "Oh, this is the worst time ever, or worst year ever." Like, I get it, saying things just to say it because things are bad. But some people will like say it so much they believe it's like, nah, bro. Like,
yeah, it's not the plague.
The
plague was really bad.
We have flushing toilets, bro.
We did. So one
Kings
of
didn't have flushing toilets back in the day.
one of the ones was, and they talk a lot about that. Like literally, it was just a board with a hole in it on the edge of the castle, and you just shit into the moat. One of the first ones I watched was the worst year ever. Was not 2020. It was like 568 or something like that. There was a volcanic explosion that basically canceled the sun for 18 months. Yeah, and people went bananas. People went crazy. The crops didn't grow for like 10 years, really, because of that.
Wow.
Because they got off there was like 4 hours of sunlight a day in parts of the world. Famine everywhere, and then there was a plague on top of that same year.
Now the sun would only get canceled if it made a bad tweet.
Yeah, definitely. I think they said that famine canceled. I think like 50 million people died. Their best guess. And then there was another one talking about, I think it was the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody expects it.
Spanish flu. That's also bad.
I think it was in the 1820s. There was another. It's like every 100 years we have something like this happen.
Yeah.
But and it may have been even further back there. Yeah, this was like in the 1400s. There was one, and it was so bad that like I think, is it Madrid? Yeah, Madrid, the city in Spain.
Yeah.
They had like a 15% mortality rate, which was low because it was like 60 most places. If they found out that one of the kids had this, they would board this house up with us in it.
And
Sorry,
never let you out.
Yeah, we're just gonna die in here. There's no way around it. That's what they did. Yep. That's how.
So wear your real quarantine.
Just wear your fucking masks, people. That's all they're asking. They're not coming with hammer and nails yet. I got a new windshield recently.
Oh yeah.
I had this. Let me see if I can find a picture. I had this crazy. It happened, I think it was on the way. No, I went to New Jersey to work one day, and I get this crazy crack in my windshield. Let me see if I can find the picture.
People pump your gas for you?
I did not. I did not spend that much time.
I don't like it.
I don't like the life in Jersey at all.
No, it's weird.
Left turns. No left turns fuck me up too.
Yeah. The first time I had that happen, I text one of the guys. I'm like, am I supposed to tip this dude? They're like, right. Hell no. Forgive the bird poop, but that crazy circular crack. You ever seen that
fuck?
Happen?
Are we in the Matrix?
It's like somebody threw a paint can at it.
Well, that's what I said. I was just describing it. It's like somebody had set their coffee and it ringed a couple times.
Yeah.
So it's got like one chip and it did it. So Safe Flight company probably can sing their song.
Safe Flight Repair.
Yeah. They came out and our insurance policy covers 100%. We don't have to pay a penny for windshield replacement. And I was a little concerned about it. I've had a windshield replaced before, but not in a car that's got like all these tech shit bolted to it. No Dude comes out and, I just walk outside and was like, hey, you see this kind of crack? He's like, yeah, it's really common. It's just the way that I guess they build them. It just it does that instead of going out. It kind of goes. But, he had it swapped out and like I had my little Velcro sticky up there for my
Easy Pass.
He like left me a new pack of those. And like put my horribly out of date oil change sticker back. I'm like, whoa, this is great.
Yeah,
nice. Phenomenal job. So
great service.
Come to the house and did it. And it was like 3 days after we called it in, they were there. So
love to see it.
I'm sure they like getting their money. Finished watching Star Wars. I watched Episode 5, Episode 6, and Episode 7.
Wow.
Just putting stuff on in the background, man.
You done with Star Wars after episode 7? Is that what you're saying?
No, I started 8. I just haven't gotten very far in it yet.
Because you just got finished with Star Wars.
I don't
5 and 7.
Count it. So speaking of Rancor, watched those all the way through again. And we're going to talk about Mandalorian, but I want to talk a little bit about, have you guys seen any of the stuff about how they're filming this movie?
Yeah, we talked about it
Did we talk about it a little bit last week? Okay.
With the big IMAX screens.
Yeah, the LEDs. That's right.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It looks perfect. And the way that they're navigating the environments is all based off some video game engine.
It's Unreal Engine is how it's built. They built the whole thing in Unreal Engine.
I mean, Unreal Engine is the premier.
That's
engine.
Wild.
It's pretty impressive.
Yep. Like even, Final Fantasy VII Remake was built off the Unreal Engine instead of the proprietary engine.
So real quick, the guy that is seen in that, he's in, I think it's, I don't know what company did a video on YouTube about how they did that, and I swear that guy wearing those same clothes is in that video. It's like the exact same.
What do you give it out of 10?
I'll probably give it an 8.
Okay, I'm giving it a 7.
Okay, which is a 9 for me probably, but yeah.
So I think it's better. So good, bad, and ugly.
Okay.
I think it's better than the first two.
Okay.
But I don't think it's as good as the previous, which I gave an 8. And I like that they start to explore like the cloning stuff and all this. And because my thing with this is that the Mandalorian is in a position to start being in some way. I don't think it can do it completely. But in some way, start being for the sequel trilogy what Clone Wars ended up being for the prequel trilogy.
I can see that.
It fixes it.
It fixes it. It explains a lot of stuff that hasn't been explained.
Yeah.
So
that's what that's my big plus.
That you're good for this.
That yes, that's my big.
So my good would be it was good to see these characters again once.
Yeah.
1 and 2. It seems like they're throwing the first line out to start measuring for a bridge.
Agreed.
That we desperately need. I think Star Wars as a 9-movie arc desperately needs some bridges built.
Agreed.
And that's probably a good analogy for it.
And I also say that speeder bike scene down the mountain was visually stunning.
So that was I
for
think,
a television show.
I think I mentioned we had rewatched the trailer, and that was one of the 2 scenes that was missing. So I think there's only one other scene that I caught in the trailer that I don't remember what it was, but I remember that specific speeder bike scene.
These fucking speeder bikes take off out of this base, come out this platform, go down almost a straight vertical drop down this mountain, hit the ground.
The guy throws his leg down.
Throws his leg out to kind of.
There's 4 of them, and only 2 of them make it down the hill. 2 of them crash on the way out,
and then keep getting it. And it's just like I'm not the action movie guy, like, but that gave me a moment and. It looks as good as any feature film that you'd ever seen, which was that's what was impressive to me is on this television show budget, you did something.
Those screens, I'm telling you, dude, that's really making a huge
And however
difference.
they did I guess the biker Scott has to be digital in some
right,
you know, but it's pretty impressive, you know.
They took the money out of editing the fucking guy in a t-shirt out.
Right, that's what it was.
It's the budgeting is
something's got to give.
You got to put the money somewhere, and you got to take it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Bad.
Same old.
Same old.
It's hey, we can do that, but why? Hey, while you're here, they literally say you're going to have some time. We have to fix your ship. Let's go on an adventure.
I'm getting that's it. I mean, you put the nail on the head. Is that it's just when we thought the plot was getting ready to take off, skirt.
Well, I will give them credit. They used that as a plot device to arc the story further because it wasn't just find the MacGuffin, then go about your chasing the white rabbit. It's find the MacGuffin, and now you understand a little bit more about why you're chasing the white rabbit.
Yes, it's not as kind of ham-fisted as the first 2, but it still has that seasoning on it.
Right? Yeah. Is it Old Bay?
No.
A lot of seafood in it.
No, sir.
No.
And lemon pepper, maybe.
Okay. I can live with lemon
pepper.
Oh, dude, Krista made Old Bay crab cakes and honey walnut shrimp.
Love to hear it.
Dude, she was gonna make some. She never made honey walnut shrimp before. She's like, I'm gonna make them. Like, sounds good. She's like, you gonna get shrimp? She's like, well, we got those frozen ones from Costco. I'm like, no, sir. You go down to the lighthouse right now and you go get some fresh shrimps.
Yeah, they're good. Their seafood's good, man.
The problem with being able to like having someone who can make fucking amazing food, the same versions of stuff that's out, is like, I don't want to get stuff out anymore. It's like I just want you to make that shit.
Yeah, we've been experimenting a lot with like sauces and shit. Like she makes this like cilantro sauce now from scratch that like it's ruined me. Because
right?
Because like it's made. I don't know if I can eat tacos without it now.
Is that what we had?
And it's less healthy. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, obviously, it tastes better, right?
Right. But now it's like ruined my healthy tacos, which were relative because we eat only
healthy tacos.
Yeah, like because we only eat chicken tacos, and we don't put a whole ton of cheese, and it's just lettuce, tomato. Like you know what I mean? And we use like the fucking whole grain, whatever the fuck. Like
it's not a fucking taco, sir. You just
it's a wrap.
Well, yeah, because he's white. You put raisins in there?
Well, like I mean, it's a tortilla. You know what I mean? It's a tortilla.
It's a whole grain, non-fat.
That's a tortilla.
Gluten-free tortilla. It's not a tortilla.
It's a tortilla. It's a tortilla.
Yeah. No, that's fair. But I just can't eat like that. You know what I mean? I'll be fucking as big as this fucking table.
You look like me.
No, but I mean, I'll look like
way the same, not as tall.
Nothing moves the blob. So I just had to, I had to be a little vigilant and
but the
Make
sauce-
smarter
But now the
decisions.
sauce has made it fucking
Sauce
challenging even to have fucking healthy tacos. Somebody in trouble? What? I'm guessing somebody's in trouble or somebody's
There's somebody yelling at him.
somebody due for class. Yes, there was something
Ugly.
Oh yeah, ugly. I wouldn't necessarily say anything was ugly about the episode, with the exception of the guy. I guess that
the
was,
guy.
but I would have never noticed.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you would notice, and someone pointed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of anything. Ugly.
I'll tell you who's not in ugly is Gina Carano.
Well, she can.
I thought you didn't like muscular women.
She's
But
not really muscular.
She's not really muscular.
I will say that. I will say that.
She
She's
was when
strong.
she was fighting.
Yeah.
I'll say
Now
that
she's just
her costume doesn't really do a lot for her shape.
Which is
Yes.
fine. Which I
Which
like
is
because,
fine, 'cause she's
you're a fighter,
and now
you don't need
she's-
to have boob armor.
And now she's the
she's-
marshal or whatever, and there's a lot of stuff in there. Obviously when hey guys, let's fix the ship up, and the one guy turns and looks at the camera like, he's going to be the one. It's like, come on,
yeah.
don't make it quite as obvious.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of that.
And obviously what's your theory on what's going on in the tanks? I mean,
I'm guessing. I mean, the question is how far out are they building that bridge? Right? How does it tie into Camino? How does it tie into Yoda? How does it tie into Palpatine? How does it tie into Snoke? Right? Is ultimately where this has to go.
yeah.
I just need them to do it delicately.
Well,
This is not something to hammer home.
I don't think we'll get the answers in this.
Maybe
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah,
Eight
me
more
too.
seasons, maybe.
Well,
Yeah,
they can milk that shit out.
but that might be for the better because that
Yeah,
might
yeah.
be something to slow burn.
There's more to watch.
Yes,
There's
yes.
so much telling in this episode when the X-wing pilot, I don't know what we're calling these guys, says there's something going on out here. The core worlds don't want to see it.
Yeah,
But there's something going on.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's obviously, whatever's going on here, there's rumblings on these other places of activity.
which is cool. Little world building stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is. And obviously the New Republic didn't do a great job building what they wanted to build without keeping the remnant empire to become the First Order, to become what
I just looked at you and then I was like,
oh yeah
Jamie Heineman,
I've been called worse.
the Mythbusters guy. I got because you may have had a serious look on your face, and I just sorry to
Because you're so
distract.
serious all the time. Jamie's so serious all the time. But tying that into watching episode 7, how many planets did they blow up at once?
I think it's 5.
Okay, and then we redeem Kylo at the end of the movie. I'm kind of having an issue with that.
That's
now.
That's what
for
I'm
some
talking
reason
about.
that's never.
That is what I'm
So
talking about.
Kylo's not because Kylo doesn't give that order.
He doesn't, but he's there and he's on that team.
He's not there.
He's watching it.
He is watching it. It's not that he's okay with it. I mean, it's not that he's not okay with it. Is what I mean to say.
Yeah, he didn't
But
look
this is-
longingly
this
away
is-
from the window.
But this is Snoke's plan. This is, you know what I mean?
It's Palpatine's plan.
Right, and then ultimately Palpatine's plan.
We still try officers for war crimes even when they didn't give the order.
No doubt, but I mean, like, to me, it's like he's less actively, and even like that thing going across. Like, I feel like there's more to him in that scene than there is to Vader blowing up Alderaan.
Oh yeah, Vader just like
Yeah,
that's
that planet will do.
Yeah.
And slaughtering a room full of children and
yeah, that's why there's no redemption for
hunting
him.
down an entire species is the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
I'll give them this credit. The
It's
point,
more like a religion. It's
the
more like
point, the point from where Vader did killed the children as Anakin to where he was by the time he was redeemed. There's 30 years there.
Yes.
Not 4 or
Yeah.
3 or whatever they're saying.
I don't know. Some things just not redeemable.
Right.
You get able to
Mass
kill a room full of
genocide,
children. There's no redemption for you. And also,
correct.
he didn't fight back because he thought in my eyes, he didn't fight the Emperor because he thought what he was doing was wrong. It's like he didn't want his own son. There's a selfish reason. He didn't want his son to die.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, there's no fucking redemption. I don't understand.
There's a hard Easter egg in the Mandalorian that ties actually back to the prequels when the C-3PO unit, whatever its number is teaching the children. They're talking about trade routes, which was the entire basis of the prequels, taxation of trade routes. Right. That's the whole reason they fought this war on the surface.
Yeah.
But then Anakin killed all the separatists too. Yep. So who's taxing the trade routes now?
The Empire.
I read this interesting thing. It said the mistakes they made in the prequels, and a lot of it was why didn't the things that were said in specifically, why didn't you try to make it make more sense to what they had already said, and like why didn't you make it line up better with Obi-Wan's, your father? He always led with your father was a great pilot. Yeah, well, okay, we saw him, pod race and then fly a spaceship a couple times. Why didn't they make him being a pilot just an overarching theme of the? Yeah,
I guess. I think so. Like here's the thing is like I think the sequel trilogy gets a lot of shit for not being planned out, but I don't really think the prequel trilogy was planned out either. And I know for a fact that the original trilogy wasn't planned out either. It's just the original trilogy had better creative people. That is what it comes down to. The prequel trilogy, I think. A lot of people started putting their hands in the pot in episode 3. Like he reached out specifically to Spielberg. He reached out specifically to Ron Howard. Like he knew he needed help. He had help from his wife. He had different directors and writers for episode 5. Like the things that make that original trilogy special, he's only in part responsible for. It's a village, right? It took a village, and he realized that by the time he got to episode 3. And started building a village again, and that's why episode 3 does so much for that trilogy,
right?
But Order 66, like it's just a big nothing.
That's lazy.
You know what I mean? It's a big fucking nothing. I mean, now it means an awful lot because Clone Wars went in and fixed it. They did surgery.
It was so much.
Now it means a ton.
I mean, you could compare that from a lazy storytelling point of view to Palpatine's here. Oh, surprise! We're going to explain it in the crawl. Here's the crawl. Here's Palpatine.
That one hurts a little bit more. You're absolutely right,
but it's the same. Yeah. But, here's something.
But I also think there's I think that if I'm the attorney and I've been hired for the prequel trilogy, I guess I would say that they do make a point to say that first of all, humans can't even fly these fucking pod racing things. Like they don't think fast enough. They're not good enough. They make a point to say that. And then, for him to win on top of that, I guess that says something. He's never been in that yellow starfighter. He fucking takes off out of here. And the shit that he's doing at the beginning of episode 3 is there. But, yeah, I obviously agree. But
there's other points to that. Some of the things that are just the way they said things. And
I agree. However,
why did you not make more sense of it?
I also think that people hold, and this is just shooting bail. Ultimately, I agree with it. But I think the same thing is true for the original trilogy. But I think that people don't scrutinize the original trilogy the same way they scrutinize the prequel trilogy, and certainly not the way they scrutinize the sequel. Exactly, and because they were 4. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, so you didn't care.
I had a conversation with my wife about this, and I think that part of the reason it is revered is that you couldn't watch whenever you wanted to.
Right.
It was like, Star Wars is on. Oh, so-and-so's got the tape of Star Wars. You want to watch Star Wars? Because it didn't come on TV all the time. You couldn't press a button and have Star Wars.
Correct. And you these what these movies meant to you when you were 4 are not what they mean to you when you're 40. And when you're 40, you have a different sensibility. So if you were to sit down and watch, I've sat down and watched Star Wars with people in their mid-30s. And they've been this is great, but they're not saying this is great because it's flawless. They're saying this is great because they haven't been carrying 40 years of baggage in terms of how they feel about it, and been in drop down, drag out fights with their friends regarding who's more powerful than who, and all this fucking stupid geek shit that we do.
Right.
So it's it's so complicated, and it's not just what's on the surface anymore. It's everything you bring along with it, every memory, every book, every comic, every toy, it's all this baggage that you bring into it. I'm sure, I had a YouTube comment when I did that Ahsoka video review. I said, we're reviewing Ahsoka, and I was like, who I believe to be one of only 3 true Jedi we've ever seen.
I saw you post that.
And I did it to stir, and somebody was like, only staying on this video long enough to write this comment. Heard you say that line. Will never watch anything from you again. Just that's how upset.
Without any discussion.
Nope. Without any. Who needs it?
Yeah.
Like
Who are the other two? I'm just curious.
Qui-Gon,
Obi-Wan.
Qui-Gon in Episode 8, Luke.
By the way, side note,
You don't think Obi-Wan?
I actually think Obi-Wan is the problem with the Jedi the other way. Like,
Oh, you're talking about the old Jedi.
he's
The old
too,
ways.
yes, he is the epitome of the old ways, and the old ways were wrong.
I could see that. Speaking of
Without
Qui-Gon,
discussion, we wouldn't have known that.
Right.
That's where you stood.
I saw your review on that figure. I got that as well. I'm very happy with the way that came out.
Yeah, it's a good figure.
The hair's kind of a shitty, from trying to pose it, but I've got him, with his hand on his belt and just kind of standing there.
Yeah.
So, and I'm the same way with the sabers. I don't ever put the batteries in. I did like probably the first couple I got, just like, oh, that's cool, and
Yeah, Ahsoka, Qui-Gon, Episode 8, Luke. That's it. Anyway, so but that person is bringing in all that baggage.
Right.
That person, when he saw Luke in Episode 8, felt away. My kids were like, "Oh, Luke went a different way in life." That's the end of it for them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it's because they're 4 and they don't bring 80 years of what they think something is and how they think something should play out. Whatever. Oh, is that it?
yeah, oh yeah. It's been wrapped up. We've just been Mandalorian and then
We do have a little bit of news this week. Mm-hmm. So Wanda and Vision, as paper merchants, they're going to be kind of like in an office environment.
I don't think that's what I think it means. That form of storytelling where it's basically reality show format, where there's sides where I didn't understand when Vision was pissing in the flowers that they were going to grow like that.
But it's obviously at least an homage to it with the blinds and the whole.
Was that real?
I think so.
Okay,
I don't know. I could be talking.
I'll be honest.
I don't know.
I saw that and I just rolled my eyes and kept scrolling. I didn't read it.
But to me, what's interesting to me about this, and this is the most excited I've been about a Marvel property since Endgame. But what's interesting to me about this is the premise. Facts is the premise of how much of this is Wanda warping reality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think that's
all of it.
I think that's going to be almost all of it.
And if we're getting into that bag,
it's
I'm like, we don't need
limited.
You don't need Doctor Doom anymore. Your villain is right in front of you.
Yeah,
and the stakes for this villain far greater than most. You know what I mean? So that excites me.
I'm not well read at any comic book, but I do know how I've read enough to know that she's not to be trifled with when she gets if she decides
she's
that.
Fucking nuts.
She changes the universe.
Yeah, she changes. Like you're like this isn't a banana now. I'm not going to stop till I finish eating it.
Yep, dude. Yeah, and it's cool with it. I hope it's that way. Like they're setting up to be fun and funny and lighthearted, and then the repercussion is gonna be so dark. It's gonna be so dark.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone's dead.
Yes.
It's awful.
Yeah, like there's a lot of potential with her. So
I loved House of M and Decimation.
Oh my god, dude! That it's very rare that comics have that line that no more mutants is a line. Like it, and it hits the same way I Am Your Father hits, and you know what I mean. Like it's like.
Dude,
like
goosebumps.
Yeah,
that's that got me back in the comics.
So for those that don't know, it's from a book called House of X.
House of M.
House of M. I get confused. There's House of M, House of X, Powers of X. There's all these books that have kind of spun off of it now. But
X, I heard X going to give it to you also.
X, it doesn't matter. But look, if you say you're a big DMX fan and that's the song that you go to, like in the car or whatever, like this DJ. He's like, oh, I love DMX. He was hooked up to the...
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
And that's the other one. And I'm like, oh, you don't even fucking know who the guy is. You fucking stumbled across TRL on the wrong day. But so anyway, but the fact, there's so much I love about that book. We're talking about House of M. But one of the things that I love the most is the person that figures it out is Wolverine. And he figures it out because he's happy.
And
I remember that.
He woke up. He's like, I remember everything.
Yeah, he's like something can't be right. I feel okay.
Yeah,
like it's fucking perfect. And the fact that she kept kind of perpetually giving birth to her kids again and again and again, dude,
it's so good.
It's so good.
It's superhero comics at its peak.
Yes. Yes.
And I think part of the problem is like of me not reading comics now is like I just can't get that kind of fix anymore.
Yeah.
Civil War, House of M, Decimation, all that shit. I can't get there anymore.
So back to my nerd week. I was reading Doomsday Clock, right, which I am thoroughly enjoying. But I put on a YouTube video explaining a book that I had heard about that I was looking to check out, and it got like
was the Coruscant Nights trilogy?
Oh shit, bring it back.
Anyway, it got about 10 minutes into the video, and I was like, stop! I like ran over to like stop. I was like, I have to read this thing. It sounds so fucking good. Like I have to.
What was it?
I'll get back to you on it. It's in my history.
It's so good, I don't remember it.
It's my memory.
Didn't take any notes
Because there
Blame on the COVID.
So I was looking into a number. I think it was. I'll get back to you on it.
Is it a big 2 book?
Because I'm looking into at the moment. Yes.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm looking into picking up Joker War, the 3 Jokers book, and I was looking at this book, and then when I got like 10 minutes in, I was like, stop. But anyway, so like, but yes, I agree with you that like those. I mean, I can go on and on, and like. I mean, on both sides of the field, like
I don't know the other side of it, but I know DC has had great events in the past,
like Blackest Night and Rebirth for Green Lantern, and Long Halloween and all that shit for Batman, and like it was when DC and Marvel decided, like, you know what if we made them look good and told a good story,
Right.
and then one of them went, well, what if they don't even look as good as the actual story? Is that going to be okay? And they're like, I'll try it. It turned out being great. But yeah, so anyway, I'm super excited about the
possibility.
Correct.
They can only fuck it up.
Yeah.
Hold my beer.
So Deadpool 3, apparently Disney and Marvel and Fox or whatever have met some sort of agreeable way to approach Deadpool, and they are doing a Deadpool.
I'm tentatively excited.
Yeah.
We'll have to see it.
Yeah, we'll see what
Again,
they allow
they
them
can
to
only
do,
fuck it up.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to have to keep the same punchy in-joke thing, and it could be, now this is where I would normally say this word, and they'd beep it out, but instead I'm going to say friggin' or whatever.
You can only do that for so long before it gets old, though.
Yeah.
he's like, instead of putting his balls on things, he's going to put his butt on things. I think that, like, I don't know. I love the first one. I have no use for the second one.
There's some funny, like the whole X-Force.
It's fucking great.
It's
And then
great.
I like that cable. So
Yeah, I like the cable too.
I don't mind the cable. But that movie doesn't do anything for me.
and seeing fucking just certain characters you would never see normally, like Shatterstar.
Shatterstar, yeah.
Yeah.
When are you gonna see him in a fucking movie other than that one time in that one movie?
Yeah. I mean, it depends, man. I mean, dude, when we see Rocket Raccoon,
Right.
True.
like they can do whatever they want as long as they do it well.
People like Squirrel Girl, I hear.
I mean, they could get away with that. So, this one I do want to talk about for a bit. Wonderful Christmas. So, 84, Wonder Woman 84 is coming to HBO Max on Christmas Day. So this is big.
After all that,
This is the first one. Like it's the first one to just say, fuck it, we're going to give it a shot.
I mean, like it took him a long time to say fuck it.
Yeah, well, not as long as Black Widow.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
it's coming out theatrically
as well.
The 7 theaters that are open now
Right.
that aren't Regal.
But I think this is going to be the one.
It's a benchmark.
This is going to be.
But here's the deal.
If it's successful, we'll see more. If it's not,
But how do you judge success on a streaming platform versus if you were just,
now you're talking
paying-
my language.
paying-
Depends on how much.
No, I'm
streamers
saying.
Now you're talking my language.
Right, but let's say Birds of Prey, for example. When I know it came out in the theater, I believe it was the last movie you've ever seen in the theater. Bobby, bless up. I think mine was Star Wars, by the way, which I'm okay with, although it was the last Star Wars movie.
I think I'd prefer to see Birds of Prey again.
Oh, fair enough. Either way, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so you could pay, like on Amazon, pay $20, like whatever's out right now. You can go on Amazon, pay $20 and
Right.
watch it for two days or whatever. HBO Max, you just have a subscription and you watch it.
I
Or
think
you
they're
come
gonna-
over to your buddy's house and watch it the day after Christmas.
I would imagine they're going to judge its success based on the influx of subscriptions.
I don't think I don't know. Maybe we should make a plan to try to watch it.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to watch it here. I
Yeah.
I am like, my kids love fucking Wonder Woman, so they're fucking pumped. We're gonna watch it like after dinner on Christmas. You know?
Absolutely.
But like, yeah, like I'm excited about it because I'm
sure
excited
there's a
about
7-day trial if I needed to.
yeah, I'm sure Kelly could find it if anybody.
Oh,
could.
I'm sure she could.
But it's I think it's gonna be telling if they can find a way to monetize it to their satisfaction. I think it will change what movies we get that are like the big production movies from any camp. You know, outside of Marvel, DC, whatever, any camp next year. Like, did Bloodshot come out?
Yep.
Like, how did that came out like during the height of COVID, didn't it?
I'm not sure. I tried to start watching that and I could not get into it.
I forgot about it. I mean, I forgot. To be fair, I don't keep up with movies, so
Yeah, but that was like a head-on COVID collision.
Let's see here. It released March 24th. It's
right in the midst of it.
It made $37.3 million, and I'm sure the budget was a lot. And it's on Stars already.
Yeah.
how much was the budget? Like, yeah, did it
I don't
lose
know.
a shit ton of money?
Let me look what the budget was.
See, that's
Like
a dead dog. Rough day.
It's got a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it was not a winner out of the gate. $45 million budget there in the hole on that one.
I don't trust ratings anyway, but yeah, like they're right at the peak quarantine, peak fear.
Listen, Vin Diesel should really only play one role at this point, and that's Dominic Toretto. You guys even know who that is?
No, I'm waiting for the Boiler Room sequel. It's the only thing I've ever seen him act well in.
Yeah.
I can watch more Riddick.
Yeah.
I could watch more Riddick. I would be more interested in watching him just do Groot, I guess. But I
He's probably made more money doing Groot than anything.
Yeah, I like the first Chronicles. Was that Chronicles of Riddick? Or
The very first one is Pitch Black.
Pitch Black. I like that one.
Yeah.
Actually, his work in The Iron Giant is my favorite of his.
I haven't seen it. I would like to.
God damn it.
I would like to.
Reminds me I need to email Mondo about my figure still. I keep forgetting to do that.
So yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be historic one way or the other. It's going to say a lot about what we have to look forward to in 2021.
Yeah.
Because if it does well, Disney's going to do it. Mm-hmm. And then we'll get Black Widow, probably get the Eternals. If it doesn't do well, 2021 is going to be a wrap.
I mean, we should suppose to have the vaccine sometime.
I mean, at some point,
middle of 2021,
just put the damn movies out on DVD or whatever, however people watch that.
I would love to. You know, they might make more money that way. I would love to get your opinion on the vaccine.
Like what?
As a medical professional, you're probably the most you're the most medically educated in the room.
Mm-hmm. You think?
You ever heard the song by Flight of the Conchords? Like, you're the prettiest girl in the whole wide room. And I love it at one point at the end. It's like, you could probably be a part-time model.
Now would be you could be.
But you probably have to keep your regular job.
Yeah. That's some clever ass shit.
Anyway, like so, you know, people feel, you know, people are unsure, they're uneasy. Fastest to market fucking vaccine ever produced in the history of ever. Thoughts, comments, courtesies, concerns from your side of the table.
From certain demographics, you should definitely get it if you want to live a normal life again.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Oh, are you getting it on the first release? Or are you gonna wait for KFC to tighten up?
Are you
some
gonna get the repaint?
Yeah, you're gonna wait for KFC to tighten up some of those
metallic paints coming second wave.
Like, honestly speaking, I probably won't have a choice. As a medical professional, as with my job, they'll probably be like, "Yeah, you're getting it before even the patients do."
Really?
I would imagine that's how
just like we have to get the flu shots.
I would imagine first responders and you know.
It's mandatory. Like you can't treat people if you're, you know, because I have to deal with immunocompromised patients and stuff. Like, if I don't have a flu shot, then I might give them the flu, regardless of whether I'm sick or not.
What I do have not a concern about, what I do wonder about, because like I have talked to some first responders, and it's going to be offered.
Okay.
Really?
Yes, but my guess would be that if you don't, that I'm not sure how workers' comp stuff would work out for them. You know, like stuff like that.
Well, you know, we did offer it when it was available.
Yeah.
You know, so like I don't know. There's a number of interesting questions I have. So I want it.
Mm-hmm. It's also like, I don't know.
It's like she looks good, and I want to fuck her, but I really would not like to get AIDS from this shit.
But you're also a survivor already, so like.
I don't have any antibodies.
So we, they tested this apparently on 40,000 people and have had, I don't know, you see commercials on TV for a new drug, and it's a drug that's supposed to like help with your Crohn's disease, but the side effects are paralysis and there's from what I understand from the FDA, it's like the side effects can't be worse than what it is fixing.
Correct. Also,
I'm glad I already have children, because who knows? It may just say
vaccines and medications aren't the same thing.
Correct.
Right.
Like medications is artificial chemical compounds that hits receptors in your body that does certain things. Vaccine is a very specific thing. Like most of the fluid in there is the same for every vaccine. It's just inert shit to carry
it's
the
car,
particles
right?
of the virus.
It's the Osmosis Jones little car, right?
Exactly.
Dude, we need to bring that guy back.
I like Osmosis Jones, but like all vaccines are the same. They're like particles or inert pieces of whatever you vaccinated against. There's no other chemical in there. There's no active ingredient per se.
Right.
So like the side effects is the same as any other shot.
So,
should be.
So
other than if they fuck up and the virus is live and then you just fucking catch it.
Then why are people so anti-vax then? If it's nothing,
Okay, they're fucking idiots.
Let me phrase my question in a different manner. What makes people that are anti-vax think that there's something in that's going to
Jenny McCarthy.
Paranoia.
It's conspiracy theory shit. It's supposed to give you autism.
Well, I know my dad
Supposedly.
has a guy he knows that has a child that's, I don't know, a kid's probably not a kid anymore. He's probably 25 now. He's autistic, and he said he got a vaccination at some point in his youth, and immediately it just changed.
Everybody had a vaccination at some point in their youth, and some of them autistic, and most of them aren't. And also, how old was he when he had the kid? Like, that's another fucking thing people aren't looking at. All these fucking autistic kids nowadays, because people are having kids older. Your old ass sperm doesn't work as well as your young ass sperm.
That's true. I do feel like, because we've gotten better at it, right? Like medically, we've gotten better, so we can start having babies a little later on in life.
Yeah, because of fertility treatment and shit.
And general health knowledge and also delivery room knowledge and all those sorts of things, right? However, I do think that more education does need to go into, when to start. Like my wife, I remember when we started dating, she was like, "Look, I'm done at 35." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like when we had that discussion, and like I know people. I mean, God bless Sherelle. Shoulder's wife, but I mean, she was rocking and rolling, and they're all fine.
Yeah,
God bless. But like every time that she would get pregnant, I would be like, "Holy fuck! Like you are push it to the limit, walk along the razor's edge." Don't like it
is becoming like rolling the dice the older you get.
Yes,
for both of you.
Yes, but I also think about stuff like I don't want to get too far into the woods and this shit, but like like motherfuckers weren't drinking out of plastic and eating out of plastic like they do now, and like our whole generation, we grew up, we were there as kids when it went from like y'all remember glass bottles, like
Sure.
Yeah, like we went from glass to plastic, and like this next generation, which I feel like they're more strange, have more strange ones than we did.
That's fair.
It's a Borat joke. I want to clean up in aisle 7. It's a Borat joke. He was like, yes, they have my brother, Bilbo. He's retarded. And they keep him in a place back home with other strange ones.
Strange ones. Gotcha.
Anyway, but like, I can't help but think like, dude, like we eat out of a lot of plastic. Like I think about like the amount of shit that I've heated up in plastic,
right?
And then eat like I've as a kid. I say a kid, but I mean in my 20s, if I had a styrofoam cup, I'd throw that motherfucker in the microwave and boop boop. Like fuck it. Like,
I didn't do that, but
that's a lack in knowledge issue, which is the same with all these conspiracy theories because they don't fucking know science or they know little enough to make it dangerous. It's like, oh, there's mercury in it, or there's formaldehyde in it. I'm like, you know how much formaldehyde your body naturally generates without doing anything? You just fucking generate formaldehyde, bro. Right. Like this is toxic. Show me your fucking degree in biochem. Like, what do you mean toxic? Like, it's just people regurgitating shit that don't know what it means, and it fucking is making it bad for everybody else.
Yeah, like that anti vegetable diet. Have you seen that? Like the
all meat diet.
I guess. Yeah. You seen that?
Yeah, the carnivore diet. Yeah.
Yeah, where they're like, because they say that kids don't eat vegetables, so therefore it's bad for you.
Yep. or that the most. almost said R word because you brought it up. The almost ridiculous one is like, it's not natural.
Mentally.
Yeah,
Mentally ridiculous.
Like, I'm like...
Mentally ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Can write that one down on the list. Mentally ridiculous.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but like they only eat quote unquote natural shit. I'm like, you know what? Nothing in the entire fucking earth other than humans cook that food. So I don't think you should cook that food. That's unnatural.
Right.
Don't wear clothes either. That shit's unnatural.
Right.
Don't use your fucking phone.
Yep, unnatural.
Yep. Don't wear glasses. Don't use medication.
And do not study the dark side of the Force, because it can lead to powers that are unnatural. All right.
Like come in with no hands.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Never mind. Use the power of
Like-
the Force. The dark side of the Force. And we have one more note.
Dude, power of the Force and the fleshlight.
You can just make it go.
Exactly.
I'll stick with my Wreck-It Ralph flashlight.
Dude, would you use a Wreck-It Ralph big hand on it?
That's what's up.
Sometimes I wish Laura had bigger hands. Like, just see how it felt.
What?
You never thought about that?
No.
No, never. What the fuck?
You get
That's
some
wild.
next Halloween. Get some of them big. Like,
The Hulk hands?
No, get the Arsenio finger.
I want like that shit
attachment.
at the ball game.
Oh god.
All right. Last thing, the Den of Geek put out this article about Alan Dean Foster, the legendary science fiction writer behind the novelizations of the original Star Wars, Force Awakens, Aliens 3, etc., is not getting any royalties, apparently, for his novelization of Force Awakens. So here's the
well, there's a lot more to it because he did novelizations for Fox properties too, now,
and he's not getting any.
No, he's been doing novelizations for a long time for Disney. Well, what was Lucasfilm, now Disney, and then for Fox as well.
Why is this?
It sounds like Disney wanted to renegotiate his contract, and I mean, looking at it from the devil's point of view, he just hasn't renegotiated his damn contract yet, and doesn't want to accept their terms.
So I wanted to keep this in for two reasons. And one is to say that he's a terrible writer. If you've ever, he's terrible. If you like, there's a Twitter account for him. It's not him though. It's like misspelled, but it's supposed to be like that's the way he wrote it. He just accidentally misspelled his own name.
Nice.
And that's and they put up quotes like, "Oh, wait till you see the novelization of Moulin Rouge I have coming out with sun super bright. Let's dance the day away." I'm not sure if it's still active, but it was super active during episode 7, and it was one of my favorite Twitter accounts to follow.
Wow.
Maybe that's why he's a novelization person and not actually just a writer of his own novels.
Maybe. Secondly, I do feel for him if he's in a bad business spot, right?
Yeah.
But to tack on to that, when you go to a table to sign a contract, it could end up 50-50. But normally speaking, somebody is going to sign good business and somebody's going to sign bad business. And that's the way it goes.
And the best part of the negotiation is getting on the right side of that.
Yes. Yes. So it makes me think about this Taylor Swift thing, right? I don't know if anybody's been keeping track of that at all. So she doesn't own her masters. This other guy does. And
it's a guy who owns Big Machine Records, I believe.
yes, she offered to buy them from him, but she's also been kind of shitty about the situation publicly. So he's like, nope, they're not for sale to you. I'm going to sell them to someone else. And he sold them, I think, for $325 million, right? To put that in perspective, it's like it doesn't matter. But like, it's a lot of fucking money, right? Yeah. And like, it sucks for her, and I get it. And she's like talking about re-recording all of her albums, so that like her first album re-recording, so she has the masters to that re-recording of the first album. Like it's getting real loopholey.
Yeah.
But she put out this lament about how she talked to a psychiatrist and she can only think the way it's affecting her. It's like harassment and like all of this kind of wordplay shit. But the truth is, you signed some bad shit. And I get it, because when you want to fucking make music for a living and have your dream fucking career, all you see is the dream, and it gets in the way of the business. I relate, I understand, I sympathize.
Yeah.
But you signed the paperwork.
But you signed the paperwork.
Or your parents did.
And there is business to be done. And I am 99% of the time on the side of the creator. However, within that, you also have to understand that you signed up for it. So, like, they're trying to fuck you. Yep. And you're trying to fuck them, because you're both doing things for one another. They can't make money off your project if you don't make a project. You can't get your project out if they don't sell it.
Yeah.
So it's like when I remember one time I got into this thing with Adam had watched Billy Corgan's interview on Joe Rogan, and Billy Corgan was talking about the 360 deal.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, the 360 deal, it used to be that the record company only made points off of your music video, your radio, and your albums. And now the record companies, if you sign a 360 deal, they make money off everything. So your shoe endorsements, your merchandise, your performance at a venue, which used to be a thing. For the people, new listeners and young listeners, we used to be able to go to venues and you could see live musicians at, you'd interact with your peers
Before
and stuff.
the dark times.
So I've seen some great shows. Seen some bad ones too.
Can I pause you for just a minute?
Yeah.
2 comments. 1, Billy Corgan owns NWA, not the rap group, the wrestling organization, National Wrestling Alliance.
Huh.
Yes. 2, WWE is, I think, trying to get 360 deals for their people now, because if you had a Cameo account, it was theirs. If you had a Twitch, it was theirs. They actually had somebody quit over it. It's one person so far, because she makes more money off her Twitch stream than she does working for WWE.
Mm-hmm. So
let's tile that into Billy Corgan.
Right. And let me just continue with this for just a second. If you are mad that you have a 360 deal and they're going to eat off of you getting a Nike endorsement, let me tell you the cold hard truth. You wouldn't have a fucking Nike endorsement without signing to a major fucking record company that could afford to get you in a position to be considered for a Nike endorsement. Maybe they own a piece of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Maybe they
not
are
the whole thing,
entitled
but a
to.
piece of it. Yeah.
Correct. You know who doesn't have a fucking Nike deal? Fabio Foreign. You know why? Because he's a Brooklyn drill artist that only I know and the people that listen to Brooklyn drill music know. And that's why he doesn't have a Nike endorsement. And his label shouldn't get a piece of that. You know? But like, it's one of those things where it's like Drake does a Sprite commercial. Yeah, you know why? Because fucking he has a board of directors that sit down to think about how they're going to market Drake, because he's a fucking megastar. You know?
And it's like, it's not new, right? Taylor Swift came out in the 2000s. We've known music industry fuck people over since the 80s. So like, it's not like
since the 60s, 50s.
Yeah. So like, it was a new thing. Then they're like, yeah, you got fucked. You're in the first train. It's not. You're in like the 8th train, bro. You should have known.
The first time I ever heard anything about that was somebody admit LL Cool J drives a rented Honda. Or something like that. And this was probably in the late 90s. And like,
now he makes a ton of money from his movie stuff.
Oh, and the
CSI.
TV. He's on TV everywhere.
yeah.
He probably makes $100,000 an episode on that shit, at least.
So it's like, so it's not that I don't sympathize, and Taylor Swift is in that category with Drake. Like Taylor Swift, Drake, Beyonce, Rihanna, and that's probably where I would put the bumpers up for like current artists that are like, we're gonna go on a tour and we're only going to do castles and football stadiums.
And they have to have moats that have shit in them.
You know, like,
castles.
You know, like fucking Rammstein will like do a castle.
Oh yeah.
But you know, so like you got to be in a position. So I tie it back to this guy too. Like I sympathize with him. He did the work. He should be able to make a career off of the work that he's doing. However, he did sign a contract. You're signing a contract with fucking Disney. You're a huge conglomerate of a company. You should know that they're coming with teeth.
Yep.
They didn't get as big as they are by treating everybody nice.
No.
And the other way to look at that is, you may be getting less of a cut, but you're working for Disney. They're going to need a lot of bullshit written down, and you can get paid to do that if you're on the right side of this. So now you're not. You
fucking novelized Episode 7, The Force Awakens. You didn't novelize Joe
versus the volcano.
Well, I mean, like you didn't
Dirt.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
what if that was the same movie?
Or even more, like you didn't novelize like some fucking rinky-dink shit written by somebody at an independent, like such and such. Like I'm sure that even in your bad business, you got more money off that bad business, off the break, off the advance,
than he would have writing
anything else.
The Peanut Butter Falcon
anything
novelization.
else. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, all right. And then that's that. I don't want to get. I just had an order canceled.
An order canceled.
Yeah.
Oh.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, so a couple questions. We had one email, and then we had a couple people that we had to be made aware of that I will apologize to when we get there real quick. But all right. So Craig S said, "Do you think Iron Factory is going to do another combiner? And if so, would you want it to be traditional or non-traditional?"
Transformers question.
Yes, and then he has another one that's like comic book related. So I would, I guess what he means by traditional versus non-traditional is like G1. I would guess. I don't know. I think that Iron Factory should stay doing what they're doing. What they're doing is a niche.
It is a very niche thing.
They have zero competition.
Nope.
They make a quality product. They are beloved.
I think if they do another combiner, they should just keep it in that stylized pocket.
100%. 100%. Like whatever they're doing is working.
I mean, I don't collect the shit, but I've messed around with it. It's quality work.
I would guess at some point they would. And I would guess, like, I mean, I'm surprised they haven't done like a Devastator because it's just like an easy grab. But
Yeah.
it's very prevalent in IDW. If they made a Prowl,
Oh, that's interchangeable?
game changer. And then the other part is, what would your team ups be for Marvel DC crossover animated movie? Good guys versus bad guys. His would be Batman and Spider-Man versus Joker and Green Goblin. Thanks, fellow nerds. Stay safe.
Marvel versus DC.
Well, I guess crossover.
Yeah.
So it'd be good guys versus bad guys. My dream team up. I think I would rather something be because like
Dude, Deadpool and Deathstroke versus anything.
I think that's the winner.
So mine is Cap and the Punisher versus Lobo and Deathstroke.
Okay, but you want two. So you want two Marvel heroes versus two DC.
Wait,
villains.
hang on. Am I doing it wrong?
I don't think there is a right and wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just went by the example.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let me rework that then.
But I don't think there's a right and wrong. I think that works. I'll tell you what I like about your answer is there's obviously the KO element of it, right?
Yep.
But there's also the fact that they are, for being copies of one another, they couldn't be more different.
Right, personality wise, and they could work off each other dialogue wise.
Yes.
and, yeah.
I don't.
And they're both good at what they do. Well,
Yeah.
the Deadpool I remember is good at what he does.
I will say for his example, I like Goblin and Joker together more than I like Batman and Peter together. But
Can they work together? Was a question.
I don't think so. So I don't think the Joker can really work with anybody, other than unless he's in charge and he's
Exactly,
using everybody.
and
Yeah,
Goblin's
yeah.
not going to let someone in
Correct,
charge.
correct.
So
I
Lakers
think just to piggyback off that, I think Doc Ock and the Joker would be interesting. Because Doc Ock always thinks he's the smartest person in the prettiest girl in the room.
Yeah, that's true.
but you can't outsmart crazy.
Yeah, right, maybe. I think I'll tell you what I think would probably be fun. I mean, it would probably make people want to throw up too at the same time, and I would enjoy that at some level because I like to watch people throw up for one. but for two, I just like when people lose control. I like to see people like physically lose.
Boy,
control.
there's a scene you will like in The Gentleman. Then
Yeah, I already texted. I texted to Laura.
It is a good scene that you'll like around that.
I think a Harley Squirrel Girl would take the fuck off.
That'd be cute.
You know,
People would love it.
yeah,
What about
Jen Pop anyway.
Harley and Wanda?
that would like that's two different types of crazy.
I know.
Not the same. Not the same. Not the same.
That's oil and water.
So anyway, yeah, thank you for the question. And then we had we had another mail-in just today from Paul C. And he said, on a typical day, what is your morning routine and what is your evening routine? How has the blood ice virus changed things around? You guys lead such different lives, both from me and from each other, that I think it'd be interesting to see the differences. This is part 1 of 2.
The first thing I do when I wake up and the last thing I do before I go to bed every day is to have an orgasm, one way or another. That has not changed. That has been that way for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, so
Everything else just comes after.
I don't know, because I have like 3 routines. Because like there's a routine when Laura's off work, there's a routine when Laura has to go to work, and there's a routine when I have to go to work. And they usually happen in that order. So like, and they're different for all. If I'm going to work, I get up, I snooze for usually about 45 minutes,
What's the point?
Yeah, I snooze for like 10-minute intervals for like 45 minutes. It drives Laura nuts. I at some point I usually get tired of hitting it, so I just wake up, which is why I do it. And I hit my phone only to check business emails and eBay. That's it. And I don't check all my eBay. I just check like the hot items I'm looking for. I got beat out last night. I can't.
Oh, the thing you're talking about last week.
I can't. Yeah, it was Darth Talon. It was a 6 scale Darth Talon, and I can't.
Is that a custom?
No, it's General Giant. And
6 scale. I got you.
And I can't tell you how angry I was, but my phone left my hand and ended up elsewhere by force.
How much did you lose it by?
$10. And the price got high. Thought I had it in the bag.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then I go to the bathroom, take a piss, jump in a shower, get dressed. I get dressed a very specific way, order wise, every time. Like it's always
one sock, one shoe, then the other sock, the other shoe.
Yeah,
I do that.
Beater, boxers, boxer briefs, beater, boxers, socks, pants, shirt, hoodie. Every time in that order. And then
Joe's like, I've never had that much clothes on my body.
Yeah, I stopped at beater.
And then I get down, and then I get downstairs to go to work. Other days, if Laura's off, we usually fuck first thing in the morning.
Right.
If Laura has to go to work, I'm usually like coming downstairs trying to get her. It's like school shit. And my evening routine is usually sex and a show, and
right.
You know, and it varies in regard to when I fall asleep. But the butt ice hasn't changed any of those things at all, except that like I've started drinking earlier some days. So like by the time we get to like dinner, like usually the music is up, everybody's dancing, having a good time. Then we do cleanup, and then fucking a show, and I fall asleep at varying degrees depending on what time I started drinking in the day.
Mine varies wildly depending. With the kids in school now, I'm up. I like to watch the Today Show in the morning. It starts at 7, so my goal most mornings is to be out in the morning to say hello to Hoda and and Savannah,
wow,
the host there. But it honestly, it just depends. Like I take a shower some mornings I don't, because if I've taken one the night before,
right.
like if I'm down in the shop painting and I'm just covered, if I'm out working in the laser and I smell like a bonfire, it just depends. So, but the dressing, I do like to lay my clothes out for the next day.
I do too,
because I get up sometimes hours before Kelly does. So like I'm boxers, beater, I'm domestic violence undershirt, shorts, then t-shirt and socks, and then that's all I wear around the house.
I hate pulling my pants up to put my socks on, so I always like my socks to go fully on and then into the sleeve of the pant.
It sounds like some old man
the
shit.
Sleeve of the pant. Have you explored diabetic socks yet?
I haven't.
Okay, they're really loose.
And I'll say that when I go to work, I shave my head at a shower the night before so that I don't have to do that in the morning, because I hate shaving my head in the morning. I hate shaving my head, period.
I've just I barely do mine anymore. I bought some clippers recently. I've been clipping at it a little bit, but I'm not great at it. So my evening routine, I mean, after that, it's like Kennedy has to be up at 8. Charlie's got to be up at like 8:30. Get them up, drug out of the room sometimes, and set up for school. And then, I have a job. It's often easy to forget, but, I start a lot of times in the morning. I'll knock out a lot of that kind of work, and then go downstairs and build some shit, or whatever the day holds. May have to run errands that day. Find foam. By the way, total sidebar, foam's getting hard to find.
Is it?
I had to go to 4 Home Depots to find 1-inch foam. I found it. I kept looking on their website and like, all right, they didn't have any yesterday. They have 48 today. I'm guessing 48's on a pallet, and I ordered it online and went and picked it up.
Wow.
I went
Thank you for the heads up.
Well, like I went to Ellicott City. You should have a lifetime supply of foam. All you have to do is ask me to bring you some.
Right.
And they actually carry 1/2 inch in Ellicott. Is it? How do you say the name of that city?
Elegant.
Like it.
Ellicott.
Ellicott City.
I definitely picked it up when you first said Ellicott.
Yeah, he always says it.
So Mason's girlfriend was like, "What did you say? You went where? Ellicott City. It's Ellicott City.
Take me down to Ellicott City.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right.
It's not Arkansas, it's Arkansas.
Well, thanks. Deluxe taught me that one.
And then he said, as we approach Thanksgiving, just wanted to share how thankful we all are that you guys are safe and healthy, especially some of you guys that come into contact with my Sharona every day. We are all so glad to see that the cast of NR has survived and endured both physically and mentally. Thank you, Paul. We wish the very same for all of you.
Yes, sir.
And then we have two other ones. I'm going to try to get them knocked out. It's going to be a long show, but sometimes we have a short show.
1 second. Paul, hit me up if you want some random Legos. I have like a large collection of Legos I just brought back from my parents' house, and I have no use for them anymore.
Oh, I saw the little decorative things. I'm guessing we're from your parents' house. You got like
those
yeah. As I was walking by them, I was like, "Oh, those are legit."
Yeah, there's a real stone and shit. And Chris, of course, wants every goddamn thing. So I'm like, "You want them? Go get them."
All right, so here we go. This is from Passive Bear. We got called out for missing his Passive Bear. It's best to email him. That's the best way. Otherwise, it's there's a lot of hands in the pot.
Lost in the sauce.
He says, I think Joe might be right with his approach to The Mandalorian. Do you think you might enjoy this more if you could just binge or watch the whole thing, treating the lesser episodes like the slow part of a grander, excellent movie? So we've kind of talked about this before.
Our preferences are different.
Yeah, I would hate it. I would fucking hate the shit out of it. I think that the only saving grace for this show for me is that I get to look forward to it every week, and I know it better, which is important to me.
You get time to digest it. You watch it a couple times.
Yes. I love Clone Wars. I can't tell you what episode is in what season. Sometimes I get episodes confused. Like, I think that this episode happened in a very different episode, but it was all in the same episode as this other episode. Like, it's like this sludge to me. It's a sludge that I enjoy, but it's like I can't ascertain it. I can't make the shape up out of it. It's like a Rorschach ink blot, and I can't see what it's supposed to be.
But it's also not a linear story, Clone Wars, so it's not fair to compare it. So many things happen in so many places to so many people that it is a fucking sludge.
Yes, but I know this past season better than I know all the rest of it. And
well,
it's
this past season's kind of linear.
It is, but I also watched it week to week instead of binging it, because I binged, and I think it might have been episodic always, but I binged it.
Yeah, it was episodic always.
Yeah, because I binged it when it was available.
I'm not sure if it's fair to compare because it wasn't a linear story anyway. So even if you watched it week to week, you might get things mixed up because they do jump from one thing to another back to the same thing.
Well, I can't do it with Daredevil. I can't do it with Punisher. I can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, and we've talked about this before. I don't think our brains process things that we don't have time to process it, because it's like, oh, let's watch another. Next thing you know, you watch 4 hours of this, and you're like, your head's spinning because you don't remember what happened where with when.
And I also think that you respond differently to it, Joe. I'm saying Joe, let's just say your name. Like, I wouldn't normally say that, but I'm saying it for the sake of the pod. Because a lot of things that you enjoy are in such high volume.
Yes.
You know, so I think that you have a different
sensibility
to it.
Yeah. Like, just like you know, with the difference versus manga versus comic. You've following Batman for 40 years, where I'm like, I've gone through like 6 different series in that one series.
Just series. No, you don't have to put that extra. Guys, like talking to Leia.
Dude, I'm not English. Is not my first language. In case anyone didn't know.
Where's the rest?
Oh, it's there at the bottom. I screen capped it.
Okay. This is shout out to Ibuka. He says, I hope I can ask one more question without being a bother. It's never a bother.
Never, ever.
What has been the best bizarre piece of music that you have heard? I started online college, and my classmates introduced me to a song, "Rapping for Jesus," which I'm familiar with.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's terrible. I mean, it's cringy, right? And the Sex Offender Shuffle, which I think I've seen also. Is there any music that you have heard that was just bewildering?
And a good way or bad way, or just in general?
Yeah, see, that's what I think for me, like, there's bizarre pieces of music that I like, but they're not bizarre in a joke way. They happen to be bizarre, but they're not like parodies. You know, like African Night Flight, if anybody's heard it, by David Bowie. It's basically him creating the Bone style 30 years before Bone Thugs and Harmony come out. And it's just interesting to listen to now, and it sounds interesting. I'm trying to think if anything else comes to mind, but that one's instant.
Well, I will say that a lot of late 90s or 90s and 2000s rap music is cringy to listen to now because it's just so misogynist. I mean, it was misogynist.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, oh. So the one that stands out to me.
Doesn't bother me in the least, I'm just being honest. I know it might make me a monster. I'm just saying it. So I sing right along with that shit.
Well, then you might actually like this song. So this was back, you guys remember BET Uncut, the glory days of the 2 a.m. videos.
Oh, yeah.
So there was an artist named...
Them tip drill days.
There was an artist named Black Jesus.
I'm not familiar.
Well, it's on YouTube if you want to look it up.
It's a song called by Ghostface called Black Jesus.
Well, Black Jesus' song is called "Tell Me What That Thing Smell Like."
Dude, I mean, come on.
Tell me what that thing smell like.
Dude, but be vulnerable with me. You know what I mean? Let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know
that is the.
Give me a heads up.
Yeah, it's a very odd song. Didn't get a lot of radio airplay, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh, so there's another song that there's a song by the Rolling Stones. It's on that album that's named after a street. It's East 116th Street. It's like the name of the album. On the cover, it's got the guy with all the fucking baseballs in his mouth. You ever seen that?
I'm familiar with the art.
Yeah.
I'm not. Don't get me on a deep cut of Rolling Stones. I'll have no clue.
They had this one cut on there that doesn't sound anything like any other music that they've really made, in my opinion. And it sounds like it was recorded by somebody with a hand recorder at a bar. You know what I mean?
Was it supposed to sound like that?
I'm guessing. And it's just strange. I enjoy it. I know at the very end, all these it's got a bluesy almost country-esque kind of vibe to it a little bit. And at the end, these soul singers come in on it out of nowhere, and they're like, "You don't want to walk and talk about Jesus, you just want to see his face." And I love that shit. I love it. I love the whole song, but it's strange as shit.
Have you ever seen the movie Walk Hard?
Oh, Walk Hard.
Yeah. So what you're saying reminds me of when he's like, "All right, bring in the didgeridoos." That when he's got 1 million people in this, and it's just it's world music. Kid died.
I even like the rap song, where they sampled the Walk Hard shit. Yes. I think I have it in my iTunes.
That's good shit. Hey, one other thing about music is that I stream all my music. I have a subscription to the Amazon thing, and I love 90s and 2000s rap, a lot of Southern stuff that Bobby's not familiar with. But something I've noticed, and even on Outkast, is it on Rosa Parks? There's a skit attached to the end of the song, and it's the skit with Raekwon that goes into old school plays. So it's you hear the skit. I'm like, damn, I wish these were just. I wish these were attached because I always want to hear that song, but it's streaming, so it's not.
That's a good conversation of interludes and stuff that the other song. I can't listen to it unless I listen to them both together.
Yeah.
Janet Jackson's album with "If" on it, and "That's the Way Love Goes" and all that shit. There was a lot of interludes on that album, and in my head anyway. And I in my head I only hear them together. But yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about this.
I like to listen to "We Are Champion" and "We'll Rock You."
Oh yeah.
Together, that's one song to me.
So, are you familiar with the song? I believe it's called "I Write Sins Not Tragedies" by
Dance.
Panic at the Disco.
Yes.
It's I chimed in with "Haven't you people ever heard of Closing the Goddamn Door?"
Yeah.
That song, I'm sure you've heard it.
Uh-huh.
Mason is a big fan of them as an artist. Or actually, it's actually just one dude, and he hires musicians. But apparently,
Trenty.
I guess that's, and I may be way off here, but apparently that album kind of tells a story. And the song right before that is a song. It's "The Bachelor Party," and then that song that I mentioned is "The Wedding." So it just kind of tells the story. And total random trivia: I used "Sins Not Tragedies" as wrestling entrance when I turned heel on my own wrestling promotion.
That thinking of two songs that I need to hear next to each other is "Closer" by 9 Inch Nails with that song that comes in right after it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Dude, I love that.
It's the way it's blim 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 blim.
One of the best fucking albums.
I need to hear "Life Is a Highway," chased by "Tub Thumping" by Chumbawamba. That's mine.
It's called "The Ruiner." I think the song I'm talking about. All right, So shout out to everybody. We got a shout out. We went extra long, so we're gonna.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Yes,
everybody.
we are thankful
Happy
for the rest
American
of the Nerd Rage team.
Thanksgiving.
We are thankful for the rest of the Nerd Rage team.
Yes.
Phil and Dante and Raul
TIE
and
Destroyer, TIE Fighter,
And Esteban.
Interceptor.
yeah. Gordon Esteban and all those folks. And with that,
Flappy Labius.
Tasty tank.
Tight Dick Player.